Hello my friends and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another brand new video. Today we're joined in Da Nang, Vietnam once again, live streaming on by ourselves, alone, talking about what spirituality really is. I have some plans for this video, some things that I was thinking about the day before, and I would like to share these ideas with you because I think they will have a positive impact in your life. So without further ado, my friends, let's get started. What does this mean, and what is this idea, and what do I have to talk about here with you today? It is nothing other than strength, spiritual strength. So you're going to want to watch this video to the end. Hello Val, how are you doing? Everything is good with me, yes. Hope everything is good with you. And pay attention. This may last 5 minutes or 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, but no more than that. And once this video ends, once these ideas end, I'll let you know, and then I'll answer questions for however long we have remaining. So this is something that I've prepared and some ideas that I have to share with you. So let me get the preparation or the prop that I need, and then we'll get started. So 10 seconds. Okay, so my friends, I think we can all agree that being strong is important. Can we all agree on that? And I don't mean physically strong, that's the most superficial surface level of strength, although physical strength is absolutely important. If you need to lift a brick or lift heavy weights to save someone's life or to escape a situation that you're trapped in, then physical strength is very evident that it is needed and necessary, and you should train your physical strength. There's also mental strength, mental resilience, or equanimity, being unwavering to the situations that are in your life. Emotional strength, something similar. Energetic strength, all kinds of different strengths. And hello, Acadian. Welcome, good to see you. Good to see you. DT, good to see you as well. Hello, welcome. So there's various ways you can train your inner strength, like meditation, yoga, doing good deeds, etc., etc. There's also objects. How did I get my name? I got my name through my own mind. There's also... Okay. So strength is what we're after, my friends. Strength is what we all need and we all want. And if we can all agree that there's surface level of strength, like for example, physical strength is a surface level of strength, it doesn't mean that you're strong inside. You may be physically strong, but when someone calls you a bad name, you cry like a baby. So that, to me, wouldn't be overall holistic strength. But a person that's very resilient inside, but doesn't have the muscles to pick up a rock or a bike or something else to save his life, also not the strongest person in the world. Thank you, Vaccinator. So one has to train different types of strength. And if there's a surface level of strength, then there's a deepest level of strength. What is the deepest level of strength? Well, I have some guesses. Can't really tell you for sure because I don't really know anything for sure. But maybe we can guess that the deepest level of strength is spiritual strength. Is strength that you can overcome any challenges, you are resilient, you have resilience in your life, and you can move through the world with equanimity, meaning a balanced state of mind. That may be the most powerful form of strength. I'm not sure, let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Hello, Albie Wake, good to see you, welcome. And there's ways that you can strengthen this deepest level of strength. Like for example, meditation is a fantastic way to strengthen your strength. You strengthen your mind, you strengthen your energy, you strengthen your emotions, maybe even you strengthen your body a little bit. So that's a fantastic way. There's other things you can do, yoga and different types of pilgrimages and other things you can do to build your strength. Now, let's look at a person like Dr. Rob or Robert Davis, the person that we all know online. I was recently watching videos of myself and him, YouTube video shorts that I've made with him. And I've been doing videos with him for quite some time, a few months now. And yeah, exactly, Katie, exactly. So I've been doing videos for a while with him, and I've seen something, I noticed something yesterday when I was rewatching the videos. I noticed that he has a kind of strength to him. Now, we all know that he's a silly guy, and he makes fun of people, and he paints his face, and this and that. But whatever negative qualities you see in a person, that person also has positive qualities. And I was particularly observing my relationship to him when I was seeing him in person. I was sitting down in front of the couch with him and talking, and there was a question that he asked me, like, oh, this and that, and I answered. And I observed the behavior of myself and him and how it relates. And I saw that he's stronger than me. He's stronger emotionally than me, spiritually than me. He has a kind of a dominance when it comes to the relationship. And it's natural, meaning that throughout life, you'll find people that are more dominant than you, that are kind of neutral to you, same level, or people that are more submissive to you. And that's just the nature of the universe. And there's a way to build your dominance. There's a way to strengthen your dominance. And this should be done with both men and women. Dominance doesn't mean that you're a very masculine guy, or sure it does. But I mean, you want to be a good and effective human being. And you want to have inner strength within yourself. And there's a way you can build that. And I'm going to share with you the techniques and the things that I know inside that have helped me massively to build this. So I'll share that with you in a moment. So fundamentally, my friends, underlying this whole strength, this whole concept that I'm talking about here, is how much life you have inside of you. That's what I would say is strength, true strength. How much life energy a person has inside. How much energy they're willing to spend. How much... Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. So a person that is comfortable with the unknown, comfortable with being uncomfortable with the resistance of life, and okay to step outside of his comfort zone and go towards the things that he wants and step up and exchange his energy and release his energy, that is strength. That's massive strength. Yes, thank you, Chris. Brian, if you have a ton of life, then you're probably not dying. Hello, Dibas. Welcome. Good to see you. So, to me, when I first learned about this idea, when I first started paying attention to this concept, it was like, how much weight can you pick up off the floor? And I don't mean physically. That's the most surface level. How much energetic weight can you pick up off the floor? How much emotional weight can you pick up off the floor? How much are you handled to be placed on your shoulders as a human being and walk around in life? I'll give you a very good concrete example. Imagine you're at some grocery store, or you're at the gas station doing whatever gas station activities that you're doing. Some man comes up to you, a trustworthy man, not a legitimate person, a business person, and hands you a check for $1 million. Better yet, he hands you a briefcase with $1 million. I want to have you go through an experience of what that would feel like. What emotions would it be inspired in you? Would you be surprised? Would you be shocked? Would you be repelled? Would you be amazed? Would you be scared? Would you be anxious or nervous? Lots of emotions simultaneously may come up. Of course, we don't know exactly what you do because that situation hasn't happened to most of us. But chances are that you would be confused, and seeing that much value might even scare you. Oh my God, is this a trap? Is this a scam? What's going to happen? Because money is like weight. It is weight, meaning that you have now so many more responsibilities. You have now, of course, the need to pay taxes. Then you have to worry about your relatives to how you're going to explain to them. And now you have to get security because now you have a little bit more money. And now you have to figure out what you're going to do, what you're going to buy. So many responsibilities can come to you. It's weight. It's like physical, tangible weight. So value is weight. It's a kind of physical, tangible weight. And how much of this life's value can you pick up, can you take inside of yourself, and can you walk through this life determines how well you live. So it's rare for a person to be handed $1 million and just accept it. Oh, I'm deserving of this. Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much. Without any hesitation. That person is deserving of life. That person has strength to handle weight. And when I say weight, this is a kind of a nuanced thing because it's not really any tangible physical weight. It's just an idea. It's just mental concepts that you've eradicated, that you've let go of, and now you can actually start taking in the valuable things in life. So a lot of the things that are valuable in life requires your mental concepts to be eroded for you to be able to take them into yourself, for you to absorb them and use them and find them valuable and retain them, most importantly. So there's ways that you can build up this strength. And I hope you're understanding this. I'm going to maybe talk about another topic that is relevant. The most relevant thing to talk about when it comes to spirituality is death. And how close you get to death and how okay you are with dying plays a massive difference, plays a massive role in how much of this weight you can handle. Now, right now I'm sitting on a chair, just a regular American chair, we'll say, because maybe it comes from America, or maybe it comes from the Western countries, a regular armrest chair, but this time I'm going to sit down with my legs crossed, and you'll notice that my communication improves massively and dramatically and significantly, because this is not a normal place to sit, meaning on a chair like this. So now I'm able to take in more weight. I'm making videos right now, I'm live streaming, this is live, this is happening live, I can see all of your comments. Acadian says, oh wow, we're getting into topics I can relate with. Okay, wonderful. Corpse Mankind says accepting death, even better. Previewing death is when you can truly live. Absolutely. So this is weight. This is value. This is spiritual weight. Me live streaming. There's 67 people watching me right now, and I have to entertain you, inform you, and keep your attention somehow, and share something that's relevant or that's valuable to you. So now I sit in a way that will definitely help me to do that. And so death, talking about death. How comfortable you are with death and dying is also a very strong measurement of how spiritual you are. Death is like the ultimate weight. And a person that's comfortable with death can pick up a ton, a spiritual ton. But a person that's not comfortable with death, they can't do much actually in terms of life, because the possibility of death is underneath every moment. So you may be going and jumping off a cliff and living life intensely, but there's always an underlying fear. There's always some things that you cannot do and you will never do because the fear of death is always there. Once the fear of death is transcended, once you have accepted death, then you can actually start living. And when I say living, I don't mean that you're going to be going and skydiving and going into the forest and enjoying all the luscious life that life has to offer. Those things are absolutely valuable. But life is inside of this one. Life is inside of here. You can sit in a box in a jail cell and be more alive and experience more life than a person that's going and running and jogging in the forest or skydiving or scuba diving or surfing or doing anything else on the planet. So, weight, okay? So again, coming back to a little analogy, if some person came up to you and gave you, let's say, 1 ton of gold. Actually, that would be pretty much all the gold in the world. That's how much gold that there is, approximately. Maybe more, I'm not sure, but it's something along the lines of one house. One full house is a regular sized house made out of gold is how much gold there is on top of the planet, meaning that's been mined out. And if a person came to you and gave you a kilogram of gold and you knew its value, you would maybe shake a little inside because there's lots of value there. And value enhances your life. Value increases your life energies. And value, potentially, when it gets increased, it makes you a little bit nervous. So you know, we would all assume that we would be very happy when somebody gave us $1 million, and for sure we would be. But imagine people that have a resistance towards receiving value or receiving money. Some people are like that. I have some tendencies like that. When a person is extending their generosity towards you, instead of appreciating the situation, seeing the situation for what it is, and saying, thank you very much, I appreciate this, this will make my life better. No, we have these resistances. Oh no, can I accept this? Oh, maybe not, maybe not. Because we have a resistance to value, and a value increases our life. A value, you know, can stimulate the Kundalini energy. All right, so we're talking a little bit off topic now, so let me get back to the actual concrete idea and actually tangibly what you can do to embrace this concept and benefit from it in your life. There are spiritual tools that I've found on earth that massively increase your life's value, that not only help you to resolve the fear of death, but also have massive life value, that help you to train weight inside of yourself, metaphorically speaking, that you can metaphorically lift the barbells of spirituality. Before we get into the tools, there's places that you can go to that are like this. For example, Mount Kailash is a fantastic example. You have to trek a long time, go into altitude, and that place is just so energetically massive. The Valangiri Hills are also a place like that in South India, that if you go up there, massive amounts of life will be first and foremost shut off of you, but you can intake massive amounts of life and resolve a lot of fear. Other temples that are like this as well, you can go to and will increase your life value. And there's other spiritual tools that you've seen me wear. You've seen me wear the Rudraksha, or the beads that I have in most of my videos. If you haven't seen it, I can definitely show you, and I will. I want to demonstrate. This is like carrying or holding death. Whatever you may think of this, or whatever Dr. Rob has told you that these are peach pits, these are not peach pits, although they are fruit seeds. These are seeds of a blue fruit that grows in the Himalayas, and it only grows in the Himalayas. So it grows to the size, and there's a smaller size. And I'll show you the smaller size. This one is the same tree, but this one grows in Indonesia. And this one grows in Nepal or only in the Himalayas. So you see the massive size difference. We're going to leave this one aside. So this carries weight. Physically it carries weight, of course. If I were to exchange this, for example, wooden beads, and you were to wear wooden beads, then I were to give you this, you would have totally two different experiences, especially if you were to put this on the skin. This enhances your spirituality, and this carries more spiritual weight. And as we've understood that weight in any kind of idea in life, meaning value, it can stimulate your insides, it can stimulate your Kundalini energy, and it can shoot things up. So this is what we all want. We all want to stay in a nice mansion and swim in the pool and have a nice car and have money and have food and have relationships and do all these things because this is very conducive for your life. But if you were to be put in that position when you're not ready, it could destroy you. So that is what value can do. But I will show you another tool. That's not the video, that's not the idea that I want to talk about, and I'm not sure I'm explaining it very correctly. I hope I am, I think I am. There's one object that I've seen, that I've discovered, and this is the actual thing that I want to share with you. There is one object, Kundalini, is that Kabbalistic, like ancient Jewish? No, this is, Kundalini is the energy that sits in the base of your spine and gets stimulated in spiritual practices. And when it raises up, you have a awakening, or lots of energy gets released. So you become more capable as a human being. There is a spiritual object, or an object, okay, let's say an object or a piece of technology that comes from the earth that is completely natural, that I've observed to be the most increasing in your life. When I first found this, when I first discovered this, it was like I was listening to death. That may not sounds like such a beneficial or positive thing to most people because, death is seen as something bad or negative. And sure, death is bad and negative. We don't want to die prematurely. But death is also a natural part of the existence, and we all die. So how much death can you hold inside of yourself? That plays a big difference. The metal that I'm talking about, of course, my friends, is solidified mercury. Mercury is bad. Mercury is harmful for you. Mercury is toxic in its liquid state. Mercury metal is a metal that people mine. People mine a rock. To my understanding, it's called cinnabar. And this rock gets heated up and melted, and the result is liquid mercury. This metal turns into liquid, and then it never goes into a solid state again. So I'm sure you've seen a liquid mercury before. It's just a metal that stays liquid. It's fantastic. I highly recommend you watch videos on liquid mercury and see what happens when metal is like that. And mercury is toxic because metal will leach, so I'll get into that. Mercury is toxic because every liquid on the planet evaporates. Water evaporates, blood evaporates, tears evaporate, and every liquid evaporates, including metal liquids. But their evaporation rate is nowhere near the rate of water. It's very, very slow. Yet, when liquid mercury evaporates, the small metallical particles can enter into your nose or your mouth, and it goes into your lungs, and it goes into your blood, and it can go into your brain, and it can make you crazy. So the reason why it makes you crazy is because it doesn't easily leave your body. Or if you don't know what to do after it goes in, you can go crazy. And that's the in Europe and in the United Kingdom, people used to make hats with liquid mercury. And after a while, the workers would go crazy, and they had a name for people like that. They called them Mad Hatters. So I will show you liquid mercury. So that's lead being placed on top of the liquid mercury, and lead is very dense, but not as dense as liquid mercury, so it floats. So liquid mercury is also the densest metal, one of the most heaviest, densest metals on Earth. One of the top 10, for sure, at least. And it's not, you see the person is putting his fingers in the water because it's not as dangerous as people think. It won't pierce your skin, but if you have open cuts, then it can go inside. So I wouldn't recommend you engage with liquid mercury. It's a very potent thing, and you need a lot of care and a lot of understanding to deal with it. So that's not what we're talking about here. But ancient yogis in India have discovered that you can solidify liquid mercury. You can make it a solid through various amalgamation processes, and you can actually even make it 99% pure. So there's other types of metals like gold, like silver, that have immense benefit for your human being. And I have silver earrings as well as gold earrings. I have both gold and silver earrings. And it's important and valuable for you to buy gold and wear gold and have gold jewelry and all sorts of things like that. And have gold, silver bullion. And having gold and silver in your house actually makes you wealthy. It increases your wealth. It does something to you, physiologically, spiritually. One of the most important metals you can own in your life is gold and silver. And also a close third is copper. These three elements are fantastic for your human body and human well-being. I highly recommend you invest in that. But something that people don't know, and there is a spiritual metal, the 100% of spiritual metal, it has really no use in terms of everyday life, which is solidified mercury. Gold teeth are boss. Nice, yeah. Now again, you should stay away from mercury, liquid mercury I mean, because it's poisonous. It evaporates and it goes into your nose, it goes into your blood, it can make you crazy, it is literally a poison. So liquid mercury you want to stay away from. Why? Because it evaporates. But when mercury is solidified, then there is no such danger because there's no vapors that come out. It's a completely stable element. The only danger if you were to start rubbing it very, very vigorously, and that would go into your skin, and if there's open pores, or if you were to consistently do this, then it would go into your bloodstream and well, it would, yeah, it would get flushed out naturally because the body has ability to flush it out. But if too much enters, then you can go crazy and you can get poisoned, etc., etc. But we don't have to look far to consuming mercury. For example, if you're eating tuna or if you're eating any kind of fish, fish contain mercury, and a lot of it, by the way, much more so than you realize. So things like tuna and things like different types of fish, when you consume them, you're consuming a lot of mercury. You probably want to stay away from that. So the damage that you would receive from, let's say, being in a room where a liquid mercury container was broken and you inhaled that a few times, for a few minutes, it's way less than you going and eating these types of fish that have been very heavily exposed to mercury. And I could actually see it, my friends. I could see the mercury inside of the fish because I've seen liquid mercury before. I have experience with liquid mercury. I know what it looks like. I know what it feels like. I know a lot of it, of its quality. And, a person close to me opened a canister of fish inside of me, not inside of me, near me. And I could see the same quality of mercury inside the fish. It was remarkable. And I thought to myself, I would never eat that because I'm literally eating liquid metal. I would be eating particles of mercury. I don't know how much mercury is in that, but it's significant. So I wouldn't eat fish in general, but definitely not that. So that's liquid mercury, but solidified mercury has no such danger because it doesn't evaporate. It's in a solid state. There is no water vapor or any kind of vapor that releases this. It's totally stable. And like I've said as well, mercury is one of the densest elements. If you were to Google what are the most densest metals on Earth, mercury would be in the top 10 for sure. I think the most dense element is like tungsten, but mercury is some are close. List most dense metals. Osmium is the densest metal. Platinum, rhodium, plutonium, neptunium, gold, tungsten, uranium. Where is mercury? Following closely by iridium, both nearly twice as dense. Okay, interesting. So mercury is denser than iron, but less dense than gold. So gold is even denser than mercury. That's very interesting, because I thought that liquid mercury and mercury in general was much more denser than gold, but it turns out to be not the case. And the density of it has a lot to do with the spiritual qualities of this metal. So mercury is known to be the very dear to Lord Shiva, and it's actually said to be the sperm of Lord Shiva. Some people also say that mercury is the juice of the planet, and there's a reason why all these statements are made, and I'm going to explain it to you exactly what that means. But tungsten is way denser, okay. Nice, that's good. Mercury is neurotoxic, okay, yep. So you have the ability to flush out mercury. It goes, you can pee it out. So unless a lot of it goes into your bloodstream, then it's very difficult to flush out. But the metal, to my understanding, and I could be wrong here, why it's actually poisonous, the metal just doesn't easily leave when it goes into your brain. So let's Google it, okay? Because I'm not here to pretend that I know everything. So let's investigate. Why is mercury toxic? Let's discover exactly why it is. Mercury is highly toxic because it binds to an inactive essential celluloenzymes and nitholene-containing proteins, disturbing cellular function, creating severe oxidative stress and damaging the nervous system. It easily crosses the blood-brain barrier and cell membranes, particularly organic form methylmercury, causing neurotoxicity, renal failure, and autoimmune response. So methylmercury, I know, is extremely toxic and extremely dangerous, so it could kill you within just a few touches. But what about elemental mercury? Why is elemental mercury toxic? Which is what you see in the videos with liquid mercury. Elemental mercury is toxic primarily because its vapor form releases, crosses the blood-brain barrier and cell membranes where it oxidizes into a trapped, highly toxic inorganic form. It binds irreversibly to and destroys antioxidant defenses and leading to neurological, kidney, and lung damage. Okay. Now, is it easy to detox from mercury? Unlike liquid mercury when ingested, inhaled, elemental mercury vapor is readily absorbed. Okay, liquid mercury, that's what I'm talking about, not elemental mercury. Liquid mercury is toxic because the vapor form under temperature, releasing fumes and bloodstream where it travels to the brain, kidney, causing neurological damage and organ failure. It acts by protein, enzyme, cellular function, and can be converted more into inorganic compounds in the body. Volatilization, okay, yeah, correct. So now let's see if it's easy to release or toxic. Mercury gets stuck in the brain, it passes the brain barrier. When liquid mercury gets in the body, is it easy to detox? Detoxifying liquid mercury or elemental mercury from the body is generally not considered easy and often requires specialization medical intervention or several weeks or months. While the body can naturally eliminate small amounts of mercury, high level exposure or chronic ingestion inhalation can overwhelm the kidneys and liver, making medical treatment necessary. All right. That's good to know and good to understand. And yes, so liquid mercury evaporates. This metal is, when it goes into your brain, it can cause a lot of trouble, and you don't want to be exposed to mercury. Once it touches the brain, it erodes cognitive function. That is not good. And so, that being said, have you been, so no, I haven't been eating, no, but from what we understand, there is a lot of mercury in fish and in food, and I want to find out exactly how much mercury is in, let's say, tuna, for example, which is the most mercury-ridden food, and I know that for a fact. So, how much mercury, liquid mercury, is in fish, like tuna? Do you believe in zodiac signs? Just curious, what's your zodiac sign? I do believe in zodiac signs, absolutely. There's 12 months of the year. Every month is uniquely different in its energy. And when you're born in that month, you take on the qualities. So I'm Libra. Mercury levels in fish, particularly tuna, are generally measured in parts per million, which is equivalent to milligrams per kilogram of fish. Tuna, being a predatory fish, accumulates higher levels of methylmercury from the food chain, with levels varying significantly by species and age. So 0.126 parts per million. I don't know exactly how much that is, but FDA limits action level 1 part per million, meaning its solid should be good. Okay, so leaving that aside, mercury is toxic, mercury is dangerous, and people that have been working around mercury, liquid mercury, have gone crazy. We know that for a fact. Some people, in fact, tried doing things, harmful things to themselves with liquid mercury, and some things have happened. So when I first started to investigate this metal, it's such a fantastic metal, so I investigate lots of metals like gold, for example, and silver, and nice. And mercury, because mercury is has unique properties. So when I was investigating liquid mercury, I saw that there was a person that tried to leave the planet, so to speak, by consuming liquid mercury. So he was working in a dentist office, and the story goes that he didn't like the things that was going in his life, so he decided to drink this liquid metal. That's very, very dangerous and very, very stupid. But he had enough with his existence, so he decided to take things into his hand. So in the dentist's office, they had lots of liquid mercury, and he drank a lot. A lot meaning, I don't know, maybe cups full. And then things happened to him, and he went to the hospital. When he went to the hospital, they did various procedures, and for a long time he had mercury in his bloodstream. And the X-ray reveals that he had liquid mercury particles of metal inside of his lungs. It was like blotchy. You could Google this. You could find this. But the person didn't die. So the mercury got peed out, and they did various treatments, and it was being released through his skin and other things. but he didn't pass away, and to my understanding, he's living out his life fine. Does that mean that it's safe, and does that mean that you should drink it? No, absolutely not. It'll be very, very harmful for you. Person that drank liquid mercury. Let's see if I can find images. So that's one story. I recommend you do some fact research based on what I said, because it may not be completely accurate or true, because it's something that I read on the internet. He was retarded for real, yeah. So that's one story. Another story is that in the United Kingdom and other parts of the world, people used to treat constipation with liquid mercury. So liquid mercury is very dense, it's very liquidy, and it pushes everything out. So if you drink it, it really pushes everything out. So people would find traces of mercury metal in the outhouses that have been, that people have been using there. People would drink this when they're constipated, and it would flush everything out and it would push everything out. Well, it would do a lot more than push things out. It can go into your blood, it can go into your brain, and it can do damage, and it's difficult to digest, and other things like that. But it's also a heavy, meaning that if you drink liquid mercury, the heaviness can puncture your stomach, and it can go through your organs, which you don't want to do. But science and medicine, we're constantly learning, so it was a while before people understood that drinking liquid mercury is not some amazing remedy, which is not, of course. But, my friends, simultaneously, in different traditions, like in Hinduism, liquid mercury and solid mercury has been used by yogis, and it is still used by yogis. So we can understand mercury as just a potent element on Earth. It's not something that you create out of thin air. It's not something that you take from Mars or something like that. It's growing in the ground. It's in the ground right now. It's in the ground as cinnabar, and melted down, it becomes liquid mercury. So yogis use this element because of its potency. Now again, I'm not advocating you to do anything. This is just for entertainment. This is just for, I'm just basically telling you stories. Anything that's potent, anything that's seen as potent, is seen as something that's valuable and worth pursuing. For example, cobra's venom, extremely potent, extremely powerful, extremely toxic as well. But in small trace amounts, things can be done with the body. Again, I'm not advocating you to do anything. But what can be done with the body? Well, now it's being investigated that extremely small amounts of venom can treat neurological disorders and mental illnesses even. So that is one step that people are taking towards using powerful elements to heal people. How was mercury invented? I'm not sure. Cobalt is where money is, okay. I prefer potassium metal. Potassium is good as well. Yep. That's not mercury. I don't know what you're talking about. The Navy back in the day would use alcohol and drank it. Yeah. So, in ancient India, it was discovered that you can solidify mercury. You can solidify mercury into something like this. And mercury, solidified mercury, is valuable because of its density, number one. That's the reason why I feel, this is just my own intuition now, the value of this metal is its density. Same with gold and silver, by the way. So I think that if gold and silver wasn't as dense as they were, it wouldn't be as valuable. And we can see elements like copper, for example, very soft metal. It doesn't have nearly the same value. Well, there's different reasons for that, because it's not as scarce and not as beautiful, also not as conductive, and other things like this. But when I first touched this, when I first took this into my possession, I noticed that the severe heaviness of it and the weight of it is what is giving it value. Please don't hold it too long. It's freaking me out saying this with love, Shiva. I appreciate that. And I've, all right. So, I have 1 kilogram of this element, and in a solid state. When I first took it into my hands in Canada, when I first got it shipped to me from an Indian company that makes this, it was like time stood still. it was like my ears became clear. You know, something happens, a powerful experience happens, and then you just instantly go into stillness, and your ears stop paying attention to the surface noises. That's what it felt like. It was just pure silence. What theory am I proving, Blackened? So again, when it's in a solid state, when a metal is solid, it doesn't have the same properties as a liquid metal. And there's a reason why yogis and spiritual beings use this, because of its potency. Why that method was, by what method was the mercury solidified? So a person like Sadhguru says that you can solidify metal, liquid mercury, with just his energy or just by touching it. And, you know, I don't advocate for that, and I don't know anything about that, but I'm just telling you stories. It's just for entertainment. And can I ask ChatGPT if it's safe to touch it as solid? Absolutely. By the way, what is this? It's just some random metal. Okay, we don't know what this is. I'm just telling you stories. I'm not advocating you do anything. Is it safe to touch 100% solid liquid mercury? Okay, it says no. Short exposure mercury is poorly absorbed through skin contact. Touching small amounts briefly is unlikely to poison you immediately. That said, it's not safe or recommended. Agreed. So, let me just get back to this. In India, in ancient India, yogis walk around with venomous creatures next to them. They walk around with scorpions. They walk around with even cobras sometimes, if they're really dangerous. They walk around with various venomous creatures, and sometimes they even take stings from these venomous creatures. Not to the point where it's deadly, but to the point where it stimulates your nervous system in a very powerful way. So Sadhguru tells a story of yogis walking around with a scorpion, and sometimes on a full moon night, they allow the scorpion to sting them. What the scorpion sting does is it activates your nervous system and it brings everything to life. You become alive instantly, intensely. If you start crying, Sadhguru says, you'll cry for a long time. You will not stop crying. If you start laughing, you will not stop laughing. You become blissful, you can become blissful for 24 hours or 48 hours without ending. Yogis love bee stings, exactly. So not everything that's potent, not everything that has immense potency, like, for example, venom. Venom is extremely potent because a small amounts of it can kill you. That's why you should stay away from venomous things. But a bee, for example, well, a bee sting won't kill you, but it is potent. It will stimulate your nervous system. It will stimulate your immune response. And if used appropriately, if you have the instrument inside, or the energy inside, or the spiritual knowledge inside to make use of it, then, well, you can make use of it. You can make use of it for spiritual purposes. Am I advocating you to go and get bee stings and this and that, or get some kind of metal? No, absolutely not. You do what you want, and always your body and your health is number one priority. So again, when it comes to different types of metals, man, I don't know why. Itching, poison ivy, rashes, one of the most satisfying feeling on earth. Well, I mean, that's not the best thing. But coming back to this particular metal, this very fantastic metal, the value of this particular metal is its density. So it's extremely dense, and maybe you can even see it through the video. It has a very strong, very powerful density. I have many more of this. So this is extremely heavy, very, very heavy. And yes, it's a potent thing. This should be treated with a lot of respect. So the value of this is the density, because density carries gravity. This is just my understanding. I don't really know. I didn't read any of this, but this is just my perception, and I could be wrong. But when I first became, aware of this and first came in contact with this, the gravity of it is what gives its value because it has gravity. It has a gravitational field. And much more so than that, it has unique spiritual properties, properties that are valuable to human beings or that deal with human beings. And its gravitational field makes it a kind of authority in your life. Yes. So if you were to imagine, for example, a black hole, a tiny black hole, somewhere in your environment, well, you'd be dead and the earth would be dead and everything would be dead. But let's say we 50% reduce the severity of the black hole. It's not as severe, meaning that it still pulls things into it, but it's not, life damaging and life destroying and destroying the entire planet. Maybe we can even reduce it a little bit more by 75%, only 25% power. Then that would carry immense significance because it's an all-powerful, massive force. So mass is what we're valuing, mass. The sun is massive. It has mass and it's massive in size. So massive comes from the same word, I'm guessing. Because of its mass, things revolve around it. We're revolving around the sun because of its density, its sheer weight. It's so massive. It has so much mass. And we revere the sun because it's the most massive thing to us. It's the most obvious thing. It keeps us alive and it's so valuable and precious to us. Similarly, when we find precious and dense metals, like gold or silver, for example, we value that. It has benefits and uses, even in science. Similarly, other types of dense metals, it also has the same characteristic or the same quality. It has a density. It has a kind of drawing in. It pulls you in because of its weight, because of its sheer density. This is 14 times denser than water. I'm going to have to fact check that, but this is what I've heard. 14 times denser than water, meaning your body is made up of water, and this is 14 times denser than the makeup of the majority of my body. So in a smaller sense, if we were to make a person made out of this metal, it would be way more denser than me. And it would give you a kind of a pulling feeling because of its sheer density, of sheer gravity. Gravity is density, yes. So I heard this little anecdote by Vsauce once that if you hug a person, you enter each other's gravitational field and you're revolving around each other. But if you separate that, then your gravitational field is impacted by the planet and by the sun and various things. So this is that particular metal, and this is why it's valuable. Now, of course, don't do anything that's damaging, stay healthy, and health is extremely important. Health is one of the most important things in the world. Let's see if Mercury is, how much denser is liquid mercury to water? 13 times denser than water. Okay, so 13 to 14 times denser. 13.5, 13.6 times more denser than water. My friends, when it comes to life, when it comes to understanding the science of life, we don't look towards the people that have been thinking and scratching their heads for 200 years. We go towards people that have been investigating the human well-being for tens of thousands of years, literally 10,000 years plus. Who is that? The Hindus. The Hindu tradition, or the people that are in the Indian subcontinent. And that's where the value is. There's a reason why spiritual temples have this particular element, or have mercury metal, solidified mercury metal, as their focal point. And the reason is its density. Because it's dense, it allows the metal to absorb energy, spiritual energy, and prana most specifically. Now, you would assume that metal like gold, for example, has the same qualities, and gold doesn't have the same quality. Gold doesn't have the same quality as, like, for example, solidified mercury, because I don't really know why, but it just doesn't. So when solidified mercury is made into an object, let's say a ball, you can take your own life's energies, the prana that makes you alive, the prana that is actively emanating or animating this body, and once you die, the prana leaves. You can take that fundamental life force, whatever you have extra, whatever you have spared, and put it inside of the metal, the mercury metal, when it's solid. This solidified mercury will hold your life energy or life's energies for a very long time. It will not go away. It will not go away for years, tens of years, hundreds of years, even thousands of years. Especially when it's made in a geometrical, proper form, like an egg-shaped form, or different types of forms can hold the energy for much longer, like an egg shape. So that's the value of this particular metal. That's why people use it, and that's why it's been done. So the black guy on YouTube says, yes, that guy is Infinite Waters. How about the children? I don't know what that is. Haunted Mercury. Yep. Let's see. Thank you very much. Favorite. Okay. So what else can I share with you about this metal? So this is a very dense metal, very toxic in low forms or low amounts, very potent. Liquid mercury is kind of like venom, or like cobra's venom. So cobra's venom is extremely toxic. You even get one drop inside of you, you're gone. You're going into the afterlife. That's why it's extremely important for you to, if you are, working in a zoo or working with snakes, you gotta be extremely careful, because one accident can ruin your entire life. Similarly with metal, and this particular type of metal, it's extremely potent, extremely potent. You gotta be very careful with it. You gotta treat it with a lot of respect. If it goes into your bloodstream, not the best things can happen, and it can damage you for sure. So that's very commonly understood. But, not everything is always bad, meaning there is no such thing as just a bad element. It has negative qualities that are damaging to your body for sure, but it also have positive things. And what are those positive things? Can we use the positive things? Well, in the form of cobra's venom, let's say, or just leaving cobra's venom aside, just cobra in general. Any kind of venom activates your throat chakra, your throat center. This is what this energy feeds and loves. So if you have the throat activated, it loves venomous creatures. It loves very potent things that deal with an intense life, that deal with stimulating the nervous system. It loves that. It can't get enough of that. So it's not an accident that Shiva, the first yogi, like for example, least trustworthy Rizal was a channel member of mine. The emoji right next to his name is Shiva, a man, with a cobra, a king cobra wrapped around his neck. The reason for that is because the king cobra loves this energy, and this energy also loves venom. So that's a little bit of symbology for you. As well as the throat chakra loves this particular type of metal. It loves mercury, liquid mercury and solidified mercury. In ancient temples, not even in India, but other parts of the planet, people have found liquid mercury at the base, because liquid mercury has certain qualities. It can be energized and it activates something in you. Again, if you're exposed to it, if you're overexposed to it, it can be dangerous and deadly even. But we're not talking about, swimming in tubs of liquid mercury. We're talking about the positive side, that different elements can be made use of. So let's say, for example, you had, if you knew for sure that a particular type of metal could be solidified and it could be made safe, meaning it doesn't evaporate, and if you don't touch it with your body, you could, let's say, hang it somewhere in your room. Well, two things would happen. Number one, this particular metal would draw in negative energies to itself, and it would also destroy the negative energies. So it has a kind of property of destroying negative energy. And two, whatever spiritual prana or whatever spiritual positive energy that you have, you can send into it, and it would slowly absorb that. And after having absorbed that, it would not go away. It would maintain its value or energy for a long time, for years, decades even, or even longer. And it would be something that you could pass on to your children. So why I'm saying this is because, my friends, it's very important for us to consecrate the planet. It's important for us to consecrate the whole world. And it starts with our houses. It starts with where we live. What does consecration mean? Consecration means taking your life's energies and putting it inside of an object, and allowing that object to act as like an energetic human being, in a way. If you've never been to India, have never been to an Indian temple, it's hard to understand what consecration is, unless maybe I talk about going to a church. Then maybe you can start to understand what consecration is, because a church has a different kind of energy if it's done properly. It has a feeling of reverence and of awe. You're in a sacred space. They've done certain mantras, they've lit the right incense, they've done spiritual practices there, that the energy literally impacts the stones. And hopefully, if it's the right type of stone, the right quality of stone, the stone can absorb that energy and retain it and hold it and reverberate that. Meaning that if you just go sit inside of the church without saying anything, without doing anything, you close your eyes, you'll become naturally meditative. The energy of the environment will start to impact you. That's what we mean by consecration. And to consecrate your house, you can just do it yourself. Meaning, if you're very alive and active, you have a lot of life energy, you're living joyfully, you're living happily, you can make the room, you can make the walls reverberate powerfully. And you don't need any objects. But sometimes tools are useful. So you have hands, you can rip apart bread, you can rip apart an apple, you can rip apart many food objects or substances. But we don't have to do that. We can use a knife. It's much more sensible to use a knife. What did you say? So you can definitely rip apart an apple, but that would get messy and it would be hard and it would be inconvenient. That's why we invent a knife, we invent a tool, and you can easily cut open an apple. Similarly, you can just live life intensely and not have a care in the world. Yes, you can do that. But does that mean that you should not use tools? No, it's sensible and valuable to use tools. Like this tool, for example, that I have on. I was talking and my energy was going all over the place until I put this on just a few minutes ago before this live stream or during this live stream. And instantly I calmed down. Instantly there was a kind of a grounding and a safety and a feeling of balance came over me. Why? Because it's not just some regular necklace. It's not some wooden beads or some, oh, I think it's spiritual, therefore it's spiritual. No, it's connected to one of the most glorious beings on planet Earth, or the existence, connected to Lord Shiva. This is where these comes from. And wearing it connects you to this energy. Similarly, there's other objects, other different types of metals that you can acquire. You can hang somewhere in your room. If you want, you can cover it entirely so there's no contact that it's making with the air. And you will benefit from the spiritual qualities that it has. So that's what I wanted to share with you. This is basically the end of my rant here, or my spiel. And I wanted to give you this insight because this is something that I've been thinking about and wanted to offer this value to you. How often are you wearing your this particular type of metal with your skin contact? Of course, mankind, I don't want to answer that here because that answer might scare you. But understand, a person's garbage is another person's treasure. So the concepts that we have in Western society of things being, let's say, for example, what is one example or an analogy? Like death, for example. Oh my God, your person's talking about death. Get rid of him. Don't let him talk about death. We should just only talk about life, and let's prevent talking about death because maybe it'll come to us. That's not a wise, sensible way of acting about it. Understand that you're going to die. Understand and investigate death. Go towards death in your mind. Not physically, of course, but understand it. So that when the moment of death comes, hopefully you're 80 years old, you're not freaked out, you're not scared. So this is a wisdom of life. This is a deeper understanding of life. And my friends, fundamentally, we have to, as human beings, look at life through our own eyes. Not because I say something to you, or not because Sadhguru says something to you, or not because the scientists say something to you. Sure, if scientists say something to you, it's good to at least take it into your backpack for guidance, for caution. If they say don't touch, don't drink some poisonous detergent, then you probably shouldn't do that. You should probably trust them because, to some extent. But fundamentally, even leaving that aside, you should look at life through your own intelligence. Nobody has to go and tell you, hey, putting your hand inside of the flame is bad. You can just look through your own eyes. Okay, this is bad. This is going to hurt me. And I bet when a dog walks down the street and smells a piece of food that's been poisoned, no, I don't want to eat this. This is bad. It's not healthy to life. The dog knows. Are you saying you're stupider or dumber than the dog? No, of course you're not. You also have this intelligence. You also have the ability to see something. Oh, I shouldn't drink this, or there's something off to this, or this will probably make me sick. But then your logical mind takes over. Oh no, I spent money in this, and it's probably not going to be a big deal, and I'm probably making things up. And then you screw yourself over. So we have to look at life through our own intelligence. This is a direct teaching by Sadhguru, a direct quote by Sadhguru. We have to look at life through our own eyes, not because other people tell us that we have to go and do all sorts of things. You're just rambling. You're not saying anything. Sorry to hear that. I decided to burn 35% of my body to make sure. Yeah, that's definitely a smart way of doing it. Going and burning yourself, not wise. Leave it on the blacktop, but never puts. Yep, I think like your next tense term. All right, if you have questions, my friends, let me know. We'd love to receive your super chats. We're always happy and welcome to get donations, and thank you for your spiritual support. I'm here to answer your questions, so let me know. I put my hands on a stove the other day to see how spiritual I am. All right. So, my friends, the things that have worked for me, the things that I know have value, I use. Like I'm using this, for example. I'm not just, thank you, nurse. I'm not just wearing this or using this to appear spiritual. Of course, this has an appearance of spirituality, no doubt. And I want to appear spiritual because it communicates the right ideas to you. And appearing spiritual does beneficial things to you. But I want you to understand, fundamentally, I'm not appearing spiritual, I am spiritual. So wearing these beads have a positive impact on me. That's why I wear them. I don't wear them because I think that'll make me look spiritual. If I wanted to look spiritual, I would do various other things. And I'm sure I will for the entertainment value of it. But the things that work, the things that have various positive impact on me, I wear and I use, like different types of metals. Okay? So I use them, and I've actively pursued them, and I can tell you what experiences they've had on me and what benefit they've brought on me. And similarly, I offer them on my website. ShivaKailash.com is the place to be. When I first started this website, I wanted to sell things or offer things to people that I would directly use, that I'm not just selling things that I think are going to get good sales. If I were to buy things that get good sales, that wouldn't feel good to me. Selling things that I don't believe in or I don't trust or I don't like. So I think I have like 3 or 4 objects there or 3 or 4 products there. But these products, I know for a fact they work. And I know for a fact they will help you massively on your spiritual journey. Massively. Meaning, I don't think you can get many more powerful or potent things than the things that I offer. In fact, there's going to be more things that I offer there, like particular types of stones that are found in different rivers in India that are called saligrams, which is a fossil. And you can get a fossilized stone anywhere, and it's cool. But these fossils, they carry different types of energy. I saw it, I feel it, I have lots of that in my house back in Canada. I'll show you when I go there. It has an energy that is unique and that has value to your human being. That's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in me growing as a spiritual being, in me growing as a human being. Whatever object or tool or anything that has value to me, I'm willing to experiment with and see. A special fossil, exactly. It's called a saligram. Saligram is connected to Lord Vishnu. So things like Rudraksha, for example, or different types of metals that we were talking about are connected to Shiva, Lord Shiva, or destruction. But this particular type of fossil, or this stone, is connected to Lord Vishnu very strongly, very intensely. And again, my friends, it's very important for me not to talk about things from my own memory or from my own intelligence. Like, for example, I learned something and I share it with you. I do that sometimes, but more importantly is it for me to actually go and experience it for myself and investigate it for myself. How is this done? How does this work? So that's how I want to speak. And that's how I know I, at the very least, am not lying to people. Because I can lie without verbally lying or intentionally lying. Just learn something and then I regurgitate it. That's a kind of lying. I don't really know. I don't really know what Sadhguru can do or can't do. He says he has some spiritual powers of him making liquid metals turn solid just by his energy. It kind of intuitively feels true because I know psychic powers are real and all these psychic things are real. And But yeah, I don't really know from my own experience. I am paid a lot, right? I'm not paid a lot, but I think the prices of the objects that I sell on my website are reasonably priced. So you should go and check it out, shivakailash.com. What's the deal with crystals? Can you tell us about those? Crystals, yeah. Crystals are also a powerful tool for your spiritual growth and evolution. I have crystals. They're beautiful. Number one, they're extremely beautiful. You can go and acquire crystals. Number two, they also are a kind of transformer for energy. They absorb energy. They transmit energy. They transform energy. So having different types of crystals, they draw different types of energies to it, and it reflects the energies. So some things can be used for healing. Some things can be used for health and wealth and love, spirituality, insight, all sorts of things, all sorts of things. But a crystal is not as potent as, for example, this type of metal or this type of bead, for example. There are powerful crystals, very powerful crystals, and I'll show them to you. I'll show one crystal that I have in my house in Canada. But not every crystal is made the same. Theo is light is worried about me. Well, I appreciate your worry. Let me know, maybe I can put you to ease. Is it hot there now? You seem very sweaty. Yes, it is hot. It's very, very hot. But why are they spiritual? Want to Google it like Mercury. Why is it spiritual? Because it conducts energy. You are literally making, okay, income things. Yep, word salad, please shower me. I don't have a crystal here. Crystals aren't elements. Crystals are elements. Everything is element. You gotta go to Sedona. The vortexes are awesome. I will one day. Air conditioning can only do so much in a room. Yep. I don't turn on the air conditioner, by the way. If it's hot, it's hot. I want to see the crystals. Yes, of course, but you hear me? I know. Yeah, welcome, Maria. Good to see you. And I hear you. How quartz is close to Mercury, LOL. Quartz, not very close. Not very close at all. Use your crystal to make yourself $1 million. I will. If you want to make $1 million, you have to do a lot of valuable things to people. People actually send this, okay? Crystals orange, yep. Wearing a tiger's eye and silver. Are charge it by full moon. Tiger's eye. Tiger's eye is also a crystal that destroys negative energies. Okay, so this video is over. This live stream is over, my friends. If you have anything else to say or share or questions, I'll be happy to read them. Good evening, Grub. Good evening. Thank you. Yes, avoid Mercury, don't touch Mercury, and stay away from potent things. Sure. I couldn't read your message, Acadian. Okay, let's do it. Are you and Rob family? No, we are not. Have you read the Bhagavad Gita? No. The downside of this is that it stains your clothes when it's wet. I didn't know this at the time when I purchased these. So when I was in the Himalayas after my Kailash trip, I bought approximately 50 of these beads, 50, and I shipped them to Canada. And I have about 20 left, so more than half of it has been sold. And I have one left that is available to be shipped out before I come back to Canada. But when I bought them, I didn't know that, first of all, I bought them brand new, meaning that they were harvested from the tree and then packaged and sent to me. It was harvesting time in Nepal, so I just came right in time to get a brand new fresh batch. And these will last a long time. They need some conditioning every couple of years, but nothing major. And so that's one beneficial thing. That's one reason why you should buy them. Secondly, I didn't know this, but they treat them with a kind of wooden, they boil wood, a particular type of wood, and they use the wood oil to coat them to prevent insects from eating them when they're stored. So they have been oiled in this way, and sometimes when they get wet, they can leach into your skin. So make sure when you wear this, you don't get it wet, or you don't sweat, or you don't, yeah. Sound71 says, scammer, exclamation point. Where's the money gone for the phone? The money that's gone for the phone is in my bank account. And thank you for inquiring. Thank you for asking. I did a GoFundMe to raise money for a phone because my phone was very badly lagging when I was doing live streams. And something like 5 or 6 people donated to the live stream, which thank you very much, but no more than $50 was raised. And if you have donated to me, Sound of Sounds, if you have donated to me and you want your money back, then message me somewhere and I'll send it back to you. But other than that, people really didn't donate to me for the phone. People sent super chats. I'm not sure if it was their intention for me to get a phone, and if a phone is needed, I'll go and get a phone, absolutely. So, but right now I can't because my bank account was, there was fraudulent charges on my bank account and it got frozen. And now I have to figure out a way to pay for other things that is, have my family help me. That's unfortunate. But I'll go back to Canada, I'll get a new debit card, and everything will be resolved. So the money is there, and if I want to buy a phone, I will. That's the end of things. But if you feel so insulted that, maybe I'll use the money to pay for something else, because it turns out that Robert is not going to be live streaming with me. He has some emotional issues. Then I really will have no use for that. So it was a kind of premature to do that. But also I go with the flow. So things happen to me. It's the first time that I've had fraudulent charges on my bank account, and I can't really do anything about that. And people are saying, oh, you're lying. No, I'm not lying. How can you tell I'm not lying? Well, you can't. You just take me on faith. But I don't break the 5 moral precepts, generally speaking. At the very least, I see lying as very, very damaging, extremely damaging. It's maybe even more damaging than killing, let's say killing an insect or something like that. It's extremely damaging. Lying does so much. When you start lying, you cross a barrier that you can't go back from. Does that mean I've never lied? I haven't lied? No, I've lied. I've lied during the little coughing season that was happening, a few years ago. People were coughing a lot. So I lied to get to a place. That's one intentional lie. Like, I knew it wasn't the truth, but I lied. That's one thing I lied. Another way I lied, years ago I bought shoes. I wore them for like a day, but it was just really damaging my skin. So I returned it, and they asked me, hey, did you wear these shoes? And I said no. And then I thought about that for like 2 weeks. And then my conscience ended up, I ended up emailing them back saying, hey, I lied. If you want the shoes back, I'll give it to you. What else did I lie? Yeah, there's a few other ways that I lied, but not intentionally. Meaning, sometimes I'm on the live stream and maybe Dr. Rob asked me a question, then I just blurt it out. I'm just saying that out of fear. And that's the reason why people lie. People lie because of fear. So I'm afraid of losing something. Thank you very much, Erica, by the way. Thank you for your super chat. People lie out of fear. People lie because they're afraid to lose something. So I was afraid that I was going to lose an opportunity, or lose money, or lose this, or lose that. That's why I lie, and that's why people lie. But the less fear you have, the less reason you need to lie. So there's no reason for me to lie. And yeah, I got an explanation of everything because everything has an explanation. Did Rob get into your bank account? No. So I have no reason to lie about this. This is very simple and very easy. What benefit do I have? So if I raise money, for example, to, I don't know, donate to a church, for example, that would be severe. And I'll be obligated to do that. And I guess I am obligated to buy a new phone. So I will, to improve the quality of my live streams. But that being said, my friends, I'm intuitive to life, to life's flows. So if I'm saying I'm gonna swim from here to there to that island, but there's a huge swell with 5 meter long waves. Well, sorry, I know what I said, but look, there's bigger forces at play. So a few days ago, March like 25th, I went into my bank account just to check if, because I needed to book my flights. And then I see that I have charges on my account. I have charges from Facebook, 3 or 4 charges. And I can send screenshots to you if you want. And I don't know why I'm explaining this to you, because obviously you have no evidence, so you have no reason of saying if I'm lying or not. There was 4 charges from Facebook, and I was very suspicious, and finally I realized, oh, it's fraudulent charges. I didn't make these charges. And then I called the bank, and they said, we can't do anything unless you go to the branch, and the only thing we can do is just to close the account or to freeze the account. And I said, okay, freeze the account, and they froze it. So now I have no access to the money that was raised or the money that I made. And I have 2 bank accounts, thankfully, so at least I can pay for food and things that I need here. But the money was only, the majority of my funds were in one account. And yeah, so it's good. So when things happen like this, things are showing you, things are teaching you. Life is showing you what to do, and so definitely I shouldn't buy a phone here in Vietnam. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking of going to a store and just buying it outright in cash and just spending whatever, $1,000 or more on this phone. But that's not really reasonable. My mom explained to me that no, you should keep that money and you should buy just a rent to own, meaning, or finance the phone. So Apple has 100% or 0 interest financing options, meaning you pay every month for 2 years and you get the phone the same price that you were to buy it outright. That's fantastic. That's probably what I will do. And I'll have that money, or have the majority of the funds for emergencies or food, and just pay slow amounts every month. So Sounds of Sound, I'm sorry that you're so jealous of me, and you're gonna get through this, buddy. Rooster peck eyeballs indicate the human truth of Mexico. Damn, yep. It's hot. It's hot enough that I'm sweating. And, but I like warm weather. How old am I? I'm 30 years old. And I have a fan running, but that doesn't really do much. Sounds, you're welcome to join my Discord and have a call with me, and maybe you can call me out and you can explain why I'm a liar. But I have a strong feeling you're not going to do that because you're scared. But I challenge you, okay? I challenge you as a man. Are you willing to have a phone conversation with another man? I doubt you will. You have good credit? No. Go eat Mercury, Shiva. I won't. Mercury is very toxic too. That's not a food substance. That's from the oily walnuts. It's not walnuts, it's rudraksha. I have an answer for everything because everything has an answer. What do you want me to say? That I don't have an answer? Oh, I don't have an answer for things that have happened in my life. I can explain to you very easily. Get on the line. Exactly. So I'll paste the Discord link, and anybody who wants to call me out or call me a scammer, it's very rare for that to happen. You both online, money. All right, buddy. All right, buddy. All right, anybody that wants to join the Discord and talk to me, the option to do that is available. Let me paste a link here for you. Don't forget, Shiva, every comment, good or bad, good for the analytics. Absolutely. It's not pleasant to receive negative comments, but that's just the nature of life. Sometimes I get lost in it. All right, so there's the Discord link. Join the Discord and give me a call. Keep on going, mate. Similar things have happened when living in the Southeast Asia with my family. Absolutely surrender to all that you can do without working yet. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I bought with my debit card is flights on booking.com. That was my last purchase that I made online. Maybe my computer is something, is compromised, or maybe that website was fraudulent. I have no idea, but that's what happened. And, this is a very valuable spiritual lesson as well, because when life is giving you clear obstacles that you can't really avoid, sometimes it's not good to go and pursue and push and push and push, because the universe is conscious. The universe is sentient. And the universe wants the best for you. So sometimes the door closes and it says, buddy, just don't go here, There's better things waiting for you. And definitely there's better things waiting for me. So I'll go back to Canada and I'll buy my phone there. But similarly, I will buy that phone. I definitely need it. That's going to happen. Similarly, what? What is similar? All right, we got someone joining here. PX, what's going on?
Hey, buddy, what's up, man?
What's going on? Are you joining me from the live stream?
Yeah. Well, no, I'll talk to you, buddy, if that's okay.
Sure. What do you got?
So, first off, I just want to say that out of you and Dr. Rob, clearly you shine. And that's just the consensus generally as us fans. And I just want to be, make that be known. Because his negative energy is always clear. Whereas you just try to be kind and, bring light to things. Can everybody agree in the chat? That's real, right?
Yeah, 1 if you agree and 2 if you don't agree. Or send some W's in the chat.
Also, I'm not going to criticize you on I don't know what all your religious beliefs are, Shiva, but I've been following you for a long time and praying for you, buddy. And, I just challenge you, man, to dig deep and search within, right? Because that's where God lives. And he loves you, right? So that's what I can tell you, man. And from my personal experience, man, he's called Jesus, but, I will let him reveal himself to you. Is that cool?
Absolutely, that's very cool.
Absolutely. I love you, dude. And honestly, I followed you when you went to Vietnam, and I watched the whole session of when he just ridiculed you for hours. And that's why I've given you money, man, because I believe in you, and I think that you're really searching for truth, and I think God's really trying to draw you in, man. And so, I think that this isn't the first time you've heard this, and it won't be the last, but I'm gonna continue to pray for you, man. I'm gonna support you, and I'm gonna ask, man, that the Lord brings some minister to you, man, in person, and blesses you. Is that cool, man? Is that fair? Can you agree with that?
I accept that, and I'm willing to receive that. Absolutely.
Outstanding, dude. Well, I bless you in Jesus' name, man. I'm gonna sign off and just watch the stream, okay?
Thank you very much. Goodbye. Very nice, very nice. Confirmation, yeah, exactly. Amen. So if you are here on the computer or somewhere else, join the Discord and see what we have to say. I'll talk about Jesus in a moment. Jesus, I love Jesus. Jesus. My friend in Bali, man, what can I say? What's real and authentic? I don't want to pretend to know something or teach because I'm just here, I'm just some guy. The only thing I could share is my personal experience. I don't want to teach, I have nothing to teach. I have nothing to say really, that's a value, that's just, yeah, I'm just some guy. So sounds, you're welcome to join my Discord and have a call with me if you really are so emotionally invested in me. Why not resolve it by getting on a call? Marcus, thank you very much. Thank you for the gifts. Yeah, what a lovely call, exactly. This is something that I want to come clean on and reveal about myself is that I have this, and something I want to apologize also for, is my need and desire to be an authority. I have this need and desire to be an authority figure. An authority figure in terms of, oh, I'm here, I'm a spiritual teacher, I'm teaching you all, I'm teaching what I know, and I'm so smart and important, and look at me, I'm sitting on a pedestal. That is a trap, that's a mental disease, it's a block. And yeah, I have a lot of that actually. And a lot of my videos and live streams and just my personality when I'm on here is like that, is just filled with pride also, and kind of feeling that I need to be an authority. And I can see it and I'm uncomfortable by it, I'm embarrassed by it actually. Sometimes when I watch myself back, live streams that I'm doing, I can see that I'm kind of putting on a show. And it's not authentic to who I am. I don't like to do that, I don't want to do that. But times that I'm just being myself and authentic and genuine and sharing my experiences, that is like a video that I can watch anytime. That's very easy to watch. It could be 10 years after, or it could be 2 years or 3 years after I made that video, and it's still very, very easy to watch. Some videos are very, very cringe to watch. Just be normal. Well, yeah, that's good advice. And being normal is good advice, but how do you be normal, you know? Someone that's afraid saying, hey, just don't be afraid. All right, it takes time. It takes an unwinding. What's your opinion on Plato's theory of forms? I don't know what that is. Let me Google it. Plato's theory of forms. Plato's theory of forms posits that true reality consists of abstract, perfect, and unchanging forms or ideas, like justice, beauty, equality, exists as separate non-physical realms rather than the changing material world. Physical objects are merely imperfect, temporary reflections or shadows of the eternal forms. Very interesting. That feels to me like someone that has deep insight into life. I don't objectively think that's true. I don't think there's objective justice or objective equality, but I think he's talking about energy. He's talking about life energy or prana. I think he has started to see that, and that's why he's forming his thoughts in this way. So life energy exists in you, and it's kind of unchanging. It is realistically unchanging. So that can be seen as beauty or virtue or love. And yeah. Do you believe in Jesus Christ? I do believe in Jesus Christ. So Jesus. Sometimes I think if I made the wrong decision or a mistake to change my name to Shiva and to go towards this direction, but at the same time, you know, it's kind of what happened and I have to take on whatever. Sometimes I feel like I'm missing out on what Jesus is and what he has to offer. And sometimes I also think that maybe I'm really off the wrong track. That Jesus is the way and the only way, and I'm here following some demon stuff. Yeah, that's funny. But yeah.
Talk to me.
Oh, okay. I think I'm muted. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, buddy. So, can you just repeat what you just said? Sometimes you think that what?
Sometimes I think that, like when I hear you talk, and I think that maybe I'm just going on a demonic path, or I got really led astray.
Okay. So the word, you know, you've heard a lot, right? And you're a very intelligent man. And so I'm going to talk to you straight as a man. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So it says in the word, and Jesus is the word, right? And in the beginning, the word was spoken by God, and all things were made through the word. You know this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Now let me explain something to you. We, the children of God, have been set free, okay? And you know the story of the gospel. But here's what you don't know. The difference is everybody strives, okay? And they do all these things in the name of God. But the true child of God sits already in view of the finished work of the cross, right? Jesus did everything for us already. And so the problem is that you don't understand the message. And so I'm going to help you with those demonic things because we are witnessed by the word of our testimony. Okay? I come from being raised in witchcraft. I have had a hard history with drugs. I've been in the military and taken lives. I was oppressed and I couldn't find God. And so I searched for many years, just like you. And I don't know your history, but you've suffered much and you've suffered long. Okay? And life is hard to suffer, my friend. So I'm going to help you because this is what love looks like. You understand your need for God. You understand your sin, which is to choose self over God. You understand that there is a God, you're just not sure who he is. So let me open your eyes, my friend, and love you. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
All right. Imagine this. You have a child, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have another. Now, they've both done wrong. Which one are you going to put to death?
Neither.
Right, but if you're holy and just, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't have sin in your presence. Your essence and what you are destroys sin because you're just and holy. You following me?
Yep.
So if your kids have fallen to sin and they're captives to it, which one are you putting to death?
I'm not putting anyone to death.
Understood. So a loving God does what? He says, I will go. His name is God with us. His name is salvation. His name is Jesus, Yeshua. And he suffered so that you would not have to be oppressed and ask a dark spirit to help you to do things for your bidding under the guise of the enemy, the adversary. And I'm going to tell you the truth, my friend. That being is created by the Maker. Do not be deceived. They are not at war. He does what he does because God says so. He's an instrument of God, and that doesn't make him a bad God. That gives people their due choice. You can choose God or you can choose self. You are in war with the enemy, not God. So, I'm going to give you the truth. God came for you, suffered for you. Because a king doesn't have to say he's king. True royalty and holiness without sin doesn't have to declare it. It walks it and proves it. And when challenged and backed into a corner, they said, "Are you him?" And he said, "I am." Which proved the whole time that's his name. And moreover, okay, the truth is, when you know it, it will make you free. And nobody gets into the kingdom of heaven of God, the Most High, unless it's through the blood of Jesus Christ. And that is the gospel, Shiva. Now understand this. The revelation of God in chapter 3, verse 20 says to you, which is Jesus and the Holy Spirit, which wants to dwell within you. Something you cannot comprehend, Shiva, is in the Temple of Solomon when it was being dedicated unto the Lord, the wisest man who ever lived, said this: "How, God Almighty, are we going to have your presence in this temple made by man's hands, when even the heavens cannot contain you? And you as a man in your pride think
Okay.
that the God can share space in a divided heart like I did. Absolutely not. He's sovereign. So the true message of love is he came for you to do what is impossible for you to do. That's what the Old Testament was. You cannot fulfill the law. You need God. And moreover, it says John the Baptist, who made the way for Christ, was the greatest human being to ever live, far above Moses, Elijah, and anyone else. And even he is the least among, he is not even as good as the least in the kingdom of heaven, which is one like me. Because I'm seated with him, the work's been finished, and my sin, God remembers no more.
Okay, I'm going to...
My sin is on the cross with him. So you take with that what you want, my brother, but I bless you in your walk.
Thank you.
But I'm just a worker, okay?
Thank you very much.
I love you.
I love you too. Bye. That gives me clarity. That gave me clarity. Yeah, wow. What does clarity allow me to see? Religion, for the most part, is for suffering people. Human beings are suffering a lot. And yeah, Jesus. I love Jesus. Jesus said he is alive. Well, yeah, Buddhism, Hinduism, or Christianity, religion seeks to solve the problem of suffering. That's the biggest problem there is. There's great beings like Shiva or Buddha or Jesus. They come to the planet, or they evolve themselves, and then they teach. And what do they teach? Essentially to get rid of the suffering. But life is also not all suffering. There's reasons why you're suffering. There's reasons why people suffer. It's because of causes that you've set in motion. There's things that you're doing to cause suffering in yourself. Once those causes are removed, then there is no more suffering. Then what is next after there's no more suffering? Well, you got to start going towards bliss. Because what else after you've resolved your suffering? When you can't really suffer in that way anymore, when you don't cause yourself suffering. Well, let's just start raking up the bliss inside of this. Let's become as blissful as you can. Yeah. Jesus spent a long time in the desert, and that must have been painful. Or it shows his expertise. Dr. Rob is sleeping on his live stream. I don't know if we're going to be, what's going to happen, but I'm going to do a lot more of this. Yep. Follow Jesus Christ, not religion. Yep. Jesus died on the cross. Recently, I went back to the friends that I met in Bali, and one of the guys there has a cross on him. He's wearing a cross every day. So Jesus really came into his life, and he's appreciating that energy, which is a very healing energy. Jesus' energy is very healing. It's very resolving to your suffering, and it's a good refuge. It's an active presence. It'll help you actively. Compared to something like the Buddha is not an active presence. The Buddha is, you gotta meditate. But I also don't appreciate that people wear the cross and Jesus on the cross, because they're wearing a suffering man or a tortured man. Literally, the man is being tortured, and you're wearing that on yourself. It's kind of crazy. But, yep. Thank you to Yamaya's Child for the super chat donation. Thank you, Erica Sanchez, as always. Thank you, Marcus, for the gifts. If you want to send some reciprocating messages, send in the form of a super chat. Questions or comments, I read it out loud. And yeah, I don't want to share my plans prematurely, but things are changing. Why not show Jesus in a good light? Exactly, why not show Jesus in a good light? Why can't we show Jesus in a meditative state, or in a praying state, or when he's communicating to God? That would be a good thing to do. But we depict him in the cross, his literal worst moment. We think that's a good, somehow. I understand what it represents, but still, probably not the most pleasant thing. The Bible has talked about snakes and donkeys. It's quite a silly book. Fundamentally, this is about learning what the truth is of this universe, or this creation. The actual mechanism, or the mechanics of it. Like a car. If you can learn the mechanics of the car, you could probably be a better driver. Maybe. Or at least you can modify the car. You can make it faster. You can make it the way you want. But if you have no idea, you're just operating based on the creator's design, it's limited. So you have to go above that. And that to me is what this is. This conversation also kind of reminded me of that I've suffered a lot in my life, and I've transcended a lot of my suffering. I've transcended my suffering in a big way. Not fully, I don't know fully, but let's say a lot. I used to suffer big time. And not because my life was bad, but because my just bad using of my mind. Didn't really know what I was doing. Going, stumbling upon here and there, hitting my head against the walls, metaphorically speaking. And it led me to really I needed to find a way out. Like, how do I solve this? And I came across the Buddha's teachings and I started meditating. And a lot of my suffering got resolved. I resolved a lot of my suffering. And thanks to that, now suffering really isn't a concern of mine. It used to be a big concern of mine. I used to talk about suffering a lot. When people ask me, why are you going to this Buddhist monastery? Are you crazy? Just go get a job, go to university, go this, go that. And I said, well, I'm trying to solve suffering. I'm trying to resolve my suffering, or the cure of suffering, or go beyond suffering. And people thought, well, why are you suffering so badly? Everybody's suffering, they just can't see it. Or they can't see that they're causing themselves suffering. But nonetheless, that's largely been resolved. At least I don't make myself suffer in that way. So now, what is there to do? Well, go towards bliss, go towards ecstasy, go towards liberation, go towards the most positive experience of life. And here's a question to you. Okay, I'll throw it out to you. You answer it however you wish. If you knew how the mechanics of this body, and you can make yourself blissful by the touch of a button, if you knew exactly how to make yourself blissful, would you do it? Would you make yourself blissful? Or would you just stay ignorant and suffering and miserable? So answer that one for me. You would choose bliss. And how to make yourself bliss, how to be in bliss all the time. That's the question. That's the question of the yogis and the centuries. Fundamentally, bliss comes from the brain. Big shocker. And if you can learn to channel your brain, use your brain, manipulate your brain, change your posture in subtle ways, and impact your brain energetically speaking, you can release a lot of bliss, a lot of pleasure, a lot of ecstasy even in your body, in your bloodstream. And I just did that actually. It's phenomenal. Wow, we just received a big surge of super chats. Lots of blissful, positive energy. And I hope you get the same thing back. So, Isaac Paralis 7740 says, bless you, Shiva. May you find full expression of your potential. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I felt that. I'm rewarded by that. Thank you very much for your super chat, for your donation, and for your comment. Thank you. John Carroll Walls says, one remembers the cross, but one wears the Icarus. I'm going to have to find what the word Icarus is. I know the word, but I don't know the word. Icarus. The Eucharist, also known commonly as the Lord's Supper, is a central Christian rite of worship instituted by Jesus in the Last Supper. It involves consecrating bread and wine, with many Christians believing becoming the body and blood of Christ. It acts as a sacrificial memorial of Jesus' death and resurrection. Wow, that's a fantastic super chat. And it leads me to, yeah. So thank you, Isaac. Thank you, John. Thank you for your super chat. And the Eucharist, it involves the consecrating of the bread and wine. That's fantastic. So in the Last Supper, it said that Jesus broke bread and he handed out wine and it said, drink this and eat this. This is the blood and the flesh of me. This is my flesh. This is my blood. What does that mean? How did he do that? I'll show you how he did that, okay? Imagine this was bread. He broke the bread apart and he uses life energy to infuse it with the bread. He literally made the bread as if it's himself. He gave the bread his life energy, or his prana, his energy, himself. The bread absorbed that. And now, here, taking it upon a person, the person takes it and eats it, the person takes the energy of Jesus into himself. That's the science of the yogic knowledge. That's the science of consecration. This is a yogic science. So Jesus was a yogi. Born in the wrong time in the wrong place. Well, I'm sure he came there consciously and did things consciously. So PX Dad says that is not correct. Please explain to me what you think about that. But that's how I understand it. It's a consecration. So he didn't literally say you're drinking my blood and you're drinking my flesh. That would be a little bit weird. But he energized it, he consecrated, he put his own energy into it. I could do this. I understand what this is. Can I do this to the same extent that Jesus? And do I have the same energy as Jesus? No. But I can do this. I have excess energy to give to people, to give to myself, to give to objects, to give to my environment. And I bless you in return. People that have blessed me, I hope that many blessings come your way. And life opens up your eyes, and you have the clarity into life. I'm in your Discord. All right, let's hear what PX has to say about consecration. All right, PX, tell me, what do you think about that?
Alright, so you want to know about the Last Supper, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So first we have to know something. Can you tell me where Jesus was born? You know lots about the Bible. I know somebody invested a lot into you. The Holy Spirit's told me.
Oh, okay.
Where was
Nazareth?
No, that's Jesus of Nazareth, but he was born in Bethlehem. You know that, right?
Okay.
So, you know the story, right? Now,
Okay.
the Virgin Mary, an angel shows up, says you're going to name him Jesus, God with us, salvation. It's actually God saves in the Hebrew, and Aramaic is God with us. Okay? In Hebrew, Bethlehem means house of bread. You follow me?
Yep.
Moses, they had manna fall from the ground from God Almighty to feed them in the desert for 40 years, and they complained, and then he made birds come down. You understand?
Okay. So
fulfillment of that
I want to
is a precursor to Jesus, which is the fulfillment of all prophecy and the prophets.
So how does this relate to
Jesus,
the consecration and the
right. So Jesus says, I am the bread of life. He says, I am the living water. His blood is the living water. Okay. By it we are saved. Also, he who thirsts, let him never thirst, right? When he comes to me. He says this over and over. Yeah? You with me?
Okay, yes.
Okay, so in the Last Supper, before that, he says, I tell you the truth. No one that doesn't eat my flesh or drink my blood shares any inheritance in the kingdom of God. What he's saying is my body is about to be, when he said that in the Last Supper, he's told them over and over that I'm going to be killed and crucified. And they're like, no way, that's not going to happen. There's no way. We're going to fight, defend you. They say this over and over. That's the story. You remember?
Yep.
Okay. So Jesus says, I'm going to be poured out for you. And I'm going to be raised back up on the third day. So he takes him up there to the upper room in the Last Supper, and he says this. He says, it's going to please God for me, my body to be bruised. Yeah, fulfilling another prophecy. And he says, take this bread in remembrance of me, broken for you. And he says, take this cup and drink of me, my blood poured out for you, which is exactly what's about to happen. He goes to the cross. He's pierced in the side for Eve, because that's where man's rib came from and she was created from. A crown of thorns is put on his head because it was to pay for man's prison in his head. His feet were pierced. His hands were pierced. You know the story.
Okay.
The blood ran down, the sky turned black, the veil tore of the most holy place, so now man can talk directly to God. There are people that believed in the gospel before he came that were raised up out of tombs and were walking around. It's in the Bible. Mm-hmm. Okay, that blood that ran down off the cross went down when the ground split open to the very place where the altar was, where the temple was before, where David was making sacrifices, where the presence of God was. So it's all prophetic in the Bible. Everything, it's the only piece of literature you can find historically that is hyperlinked with over 65,000 references. And my last thing I'm going to tell you about the demonic, Shiva, is this. The Lord says 365 times in the Bible not to be afraid. And he says, resist the devil and he will flee. And then the other thing that he says, the only time he says to run from the devil is when he's tempting you with lust and self-pleasure. He tells you to run. Everything else, you resist and he runs. So that's all I'm going to tell you, man. Please seek Jesus above all things. All right, buddy?
All right. Thank you very much. Good day. Nice. So, John, if you're still here, I completely misread that. The Icarist is not the Eucharist. The Icarist, or Ictus, Greek for fish, is an ancient symbol composed of two intersecting arcs forming a fish profile, used by early Christians as a secret sign of faith during prosecution. Interesting. It serves as an agnostic acrostic for Greek phrase, Jesus Christ, Son of God, Savior. Wow, very interesting. So I've always seen the Jesus fish, or that kind of, the arch. I never knew what it meant, and it feels like very human-made. It feels kind of fabricated. Well, it is fabricated, but it has, I didn't know that it was created in the time of prosecution. And interesting. Early Christians in the Roman Empire utilized the symbol to safely identify themselves and communicate during the time of prosecution. According to legends, symbolism represents Jesus Christ as the Jesus fish, or sign of the fish, often used to identify fellow believers. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I wonder if this would be a better substitute for representing Jesus, or what you would wear in representation of Jesus. Sometimes people wear, Jesus' head, but with thorns also on around his head. Why would we do that? Why would we depict? I think it's because human beings like suffering and want suffering and think that suffering has some ultimate meaning. And the more you suffer, the more holy you are, which couldn't be farther from the truth. I mean, if that's what you think, then all the best to you. But it's not true. It's not real. So they see Jesus' suffering and the suffering that he's gone through as something admirable. Okay, maybe what he's gone through for, the reason he had to go through that, that's maybe admirable, but him suffering is not admirable. King of the Jews was on the table on his cross. All right. There's a proper kind of suffering. I don't know what that means. Attachment to long shorts. What? Representing Jesus must be symbolic because we don't know the geometry of his real face. That's true. That's true as well. So, in the Buddha's tradition, well, you can symbolize the Buddha and his statues. Sure, that's fine. But it's the qualities that you're looking to. It's not, no need to wear a torture device. Exactly. Literally. That's literally what it is. Yeah. Deny the self and flesh, repent for your sins. You will I will disciple you when you give your heart to him, Shiva. Okay, thank you. So we were talking about Jesus fish earlier today. Who was talking about the thing? Yep. The door is open. I appreciate that. I know that. So, yeah, Jesus and the thorns. Person that's wearing the thorns. God forbid the thorns go into your chest. And So the Buddha's tradition, you're looking at the quality of the Buddha, not that you can really represent the Buddha's face, how he looked like. It's really not possible. But you also have the Four Noble Truths, or the Eightfold Noble Path, which is depicted as a circle with 8 wheels. It's an 8-sided wheel, or an 8-spork wheel, which is the Buddha's teaching. So that is what we're pursuing. The Lord says unto you, behold, and I stand at the door, whoever is letting you. Yes. So what did Jesus teach? Well, he taught the golden rule. Or did he? Let's see. Did Jesus teach the golden rule? Yes, Jesus taught the golden rule during the Sermon on the Mount, as recorded in Matthew 7:12 and Luke 6:31. He stated, so in everything, do unto others what you would have done unto you, for this sums up the law and the prophets. This has been slightly kind of debunked in a sense, not debunked, but you can poke holes onto that because maybe you like getting slapped. So should I go and slap people? But I'm sure Jesus is talking in a general term. You want to have kindness in your life, you want to be blessed, you want to avoid pain and have pleasure or have happiness. So you should do unto others that you would want to do unto yourself. And also don't do unto others things that you would not have to be done on yourself. That's a kind of reverse, but it's more powerful when it's reversed. And essentially this is the Buddha's teachings on morality, the 5 moral precepts. It's more scientific. The Buddha taught not to kill living beings, not to steal, not to lie, not to misuse your sexuality, and not to intoxicate your mind. So, as long as there's a safe word. You are being slapped by someone you like, not a stranger where you don't know their intentions. Are you talking about Dr. Rob? Robert? Roberto. But yeah, Jesus. Wonderful being, wonderful being. Wonderful being. I like Jesus. I'm not repelled by Jesus or repulsed by Jesus or closed off to Jesus. Jesus is here. Jesus is here just as much as the Buddha is here. And I don't think it's an end-all be-all, like you have to go and sacrifice yourself or go and jump into the hole of Jesus is the ocean. You kind of have lots of options, meaning there's value to be gained in lots of spiritual seekers and beings. Like Jesus was one. Do I think that Jesus was the God? Sure, if God represents love and trust and harmony and happiness and wisdom, then absolutely, he had all those qualities, he embodied all those qualities. But does it mean to say that no other human embodied the same qualities as Jesus? I think that would be unfair to say. How old are you? I'm 30 years old. And yeah, you are the door. And I think that we all can strive towards achieving the same qualities as Jesus. A blessing in your walk. This may be a tired and yep. So I don't think that Jesus has a monopoly on God. I think that God is in everything, actually. God is in every rock. The door is here for you. But I think people get stuck because religion and Christianity it is a religion and they want to be successful, and so lots of things were misunderstood. But yeah. So shout out to Jesus. Jesus performed miracles though, that's true. But he's not the only person that performed miracles. He walked on water, he turned water into wine. Yogis have done that for a long time in India. But just because you perform miracles doesn't mean much actually, because the Buddha's cousin performed miracles. He meditated a lot and he had psychic powers. Psychic powers are material nature, they're kind of a material. You chant the destroyer, renounce the lies, Tabara whispers, let the ego die, robs, monk's robes, or yogi's mat, and the path is one, the heart laid bare beneath the rising sun. Oh, that's very powerful. He set me free, Shiva. Nice. I respect that. That's admirable. Most Americans are, yep. Shiva, okay. Only God forgives sin. Tell the truth. I believe you. So the Buddha's cousin, he meditated and he gained psychic powers. He could do various things. Let's see what the Buddha's cousin had powers. What psychic powers did Devadatta have? Devadatta, the Buddha's cousin, attained mundane psychic powers through deep meditative absorption, or jhanas, but they were not enlightened powers. He could shapeshift, appear as a child with snakes, travel through walls, walk on water, fly, and demonstrate immense strength, all of which he used for personal gain and to impress Prince Ajastu. So he had the ability to walk on water. That's the Buddha's cousin, Devadatta. But he was an evil being, meaning he was an evil being. He had bad intentions. So he wanted to take over the Buddha's Sangha and the Buddha's community, and he tried to kill the Buddha also, and then he fell into hell. Do not deceive. Every demon has abilities. They mock the Lord, personal gain, the self. Yeah, exactly. So Jesus also had psychic powers, but he demonstrated psychic powers out of wisdom, not out of self-gain. So it would be useful to display psychic powers to earn the trust of people. They do usually live, but I don't know what Jesus' intentions were. Look at the Christian calling other demonic. Yep, sounds like my other kind of guy. So yeah, Devadatta had the ability to walk through walls as well. That's pretty impressive. That's one of the most impressive psychic powers. The ability to walk through walls. That's pretty cool. That requires some serious understanding of the universe and serious mental accomplishments. But he was still stupid. He was still delusional. He still wanted to, so he gained these material powers, is material in nature. It wasn't wisdom. And he used it for personal gain. He tried to impress people. He tried to say, oh, look, I'm enlightened. Look at all these things I can do. And he tried to impress this prince to ultimately wage a war against the Buddha, or try to defame him and do all these things. If you spent years in solitary confinement, do you think that you could personally understand more than just himself? Understand more than just himself? I think that spending years in solitary confinement wouldn't do much, unless you have certain training. Like if I were to, God forbid, put in solitary confinement for some crime I didn't do, and spend years there, then maybe I could attain some things because I know how to meditate. I know spiritual practices. But if you have no spiritual practices, you're just going to destroy your mind. You're going to fall deeper into unconsciousness and suffering, and to make yourself more suffering. Shiva, literally look around you right now, the empty space. You see through lack of form is filled with presence. The presence is in the ultimate presence of God, Shiva, Jesus, Buddha. One space, one energy. Yeah, correct. So fundamentally, underneath this whole universe is emptiness. There's nothing here. And this emptiness is the most peace. And this is the fabric of reality. It's the foundation. Solitary confinement is seen as the form of torture in Western countries. Yeah. Where will Shiva talk about the real thing? What do you want me to talk about, Tony? I have done all the Holy Spirit has told me to do, and now, that being said, a seed has been planted. You do what you wish. The gospel was presented to you. Thank you very much, and I hope the seed sprouts. Ignorance is no longer yours to claim. I agree. They will take your body. All right. I love you so much. I love you too. Okay. So. Praise Shiva, show us the enlightened path. Whew, what a wonderful world. One thing I'm actively trying to do is to keep my spine straight. That hasn't been a habit of mine for years, even though I knew it was the right thing to do. It's something that, keeping your spine down, like hunching over, is a kind of safety mechanism. If your spine is erect, straight up, you're exposing your chest, which is a very vulnerable part of the body, and you're exposing your stomach, which is even more vulnerable. The heart has a rib cage, it has a hard bones, but the stomach has nothing. It has a little puncture, and you're done. So hunching over is a kind of defense. Okay, I'm protecting my vital organs here. So I want to strengthen my back muscles to support my spine being straight, and have the confidence and comfort to expose my vital organs to the world. This is what we also call confidence. You exposing your vital organs. Hey, look at me. Even my neck. This is confidence or arrogance, depending on how you look at it. So, as I'm becoming more spiritually evolved, I'm realizing and understanding that keeping my spine straight is of the utmost importance. I see how damaging it is for my organs. I see how bad it is for my breathing. It doesn't let me think straight. Doesn't look good. So energy goes up freely when the spine is straight. What good is it to gain the world but lose your own soul? Absolutely. The mountain trembled, the veil was torn in two. What Shiva destroys, the Lamb has made brand new. The heart is wide, embracing fire and grace, yet only one can meet you in that holy place. Wow, very nice. So on this YouTube chat, we have people that, I can only imagine them as trolls or haters or literally hunched over trolls. And the worm is one of them. So Worm is here. He has the same energy as the sound guy that came in recently. I just see it as a kind of, it's like a kind of a darkness. They have nothing, never positive. It's only kind of a tearing down. Which, I mean, and this is not unique to them also. It's a common pattern I see. So people come here, and some people's energies just fall towards that, and they are kind of very negative. God is good, Shiva. Yes, I believe that. Well, maybe not God of the Bible, because God of the Bible killed people and drowned babies and told people to kill their children and Worm, if you have something to say to me, then join me on the Discord, but you're not man enough to do that. And throwing insults around is not criticism. It's just hatred. You don't need to choose between the light and deep or dark. The morning star burns bright. Lay every god at the feet of the sun, and to him alone true yoga is begun. They're acting like, yeah, okay. God can be found inside cactus. That maybe is the most spiritual thing that anybody has said in this whole live stream, including me. Yeah, just because we realize the basics of, the basics is what we all have to come to and understand, and just because you know something logically doesn't mean it's easy to do. And then people would quit smoking easily and stop their negative thought patterns and stop insulting people for no reason, or stop throwing their negativity and their negative energy around on others. So just because you know something is right, it doesn't mean that it's easy to do. Warm. I found God in a coma. Wow. Were you saying I'm the worm? No, I'm not saying that. There's a guy that's literally called Worm here. A worm. His mind is like that of a worm. Yeah. Yeah, I know you felt the Lord. PX Daddy, I know the Lord exists and God exists and Jesus exists and I know Jesus' energy and Jesus has come to me multiple times. And I like Jesus, I love Jesus. But to me, it's not so, it's not such a big deal because you're in it. Right now you're in it, you're in Jesus. And when you're inside of that, it appears that that's the whole world. I see that Jesus is one facet or one being, one man. Highly enlightened man, but I'm my own man. And hey, I'm living the same life as you. I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm alive, and everything is good. Drugs are where spirituality comes from. Have you tried any Shiva? No, that's not true. Drugs are not where spirituality comes from. Spirituality comes from the first yogi, Adi Yogi, or Shiva. And I don't recommend you taking any kind of substances. Jesus is the kingdom of God, not the scripture ideas. True. So, can we tell your mom Bobby was dealt with? I have a plan to do a live stream with my mom, actually. When I come back to Canada, I hope she accepts. I think that would be good, and maybe I'll invite her as my guest often. I think that'd be a really good idea because she has a lot of wisdom and very spiritual, and she would bless a lot of people. She would bring a lot of value to your lives. So Tristan, you have one subscriber. There's no interview. You're unknown. I don't even know who you are. What are you gonna interview me on? How do you think you reach enlightenment? By transcending your mind. That's what the Buddha means, by the way. It's a Buddha, means someone who's gone above his mind. Thank you, Acadian Stacker, I appreciate that. Yes. So it's a good step towards the right direction. Yeah. And I wish to share more. Is what you're doing while speaking to Rob? I don't know what you mean. Yeah. Rob is partying on stream. Last I checked, he was sleeping. He's sleeping on the job. He's still sleeping. You don't have to worry about me followers. You have over 200 accounts we manage. You have over 200 accounts? What are you, spam bots? Show me one account with the most subscribers, then I might do it. I'll pray with you without ceasing. Thank you very much. Enlightenment is the tip of your nose. Enlightenment is on the tip of your nose. That's correct. That's true. I could crush you on anything, Infamous says. Crush me on Discord. The link is right there. Pumpkin seeds are good. Pumpkin seeds are the most protein-rich foods on earth. Or one of the most. Are those who realize they have been enlightened really enlightened, or is knowing just a part of the first step in? Don't know. Glad you're going to see your family soon. Yeah, absolutely. I actually can't wait. When being away from your family, it makes you realize how futile arguments are and how much you actually love them. So I'm sure it'll be challenging because, you know, family always brings up conflict and these kinds of things, and it's not very comfortable to deal with that, but But still, you know, nothing like family. We ripped all your videos. You ripped my videos. I haven't seen a single rip, so clearly you failed. And all of my videos are my side, you ignoramus. Anyone who says they got it all figured out are not the people you should be looking for advice. Absolutely correct. That's a sign of ignorance. The impersonal philosophy is not for beginners. You copied my YouTube videos, so very nice. So you're gonna have your channels taken down, huh? From copyright strikes? That's a fantastic strategy. Good work. Yes, we are doing a documentary. Well, with 1 subscriber, I'm not sure how effective that documentary is going to be, and how much experience you have with editing and doing that. But hey, maybe it'll get 100 views, and I'll watch it. Please think about what I've said to you. I will. Yeah. Yes, my friends, yes. Whew. Prana. Energy. May all beings on this live stream be blessed. May all beings in the world be blessed. May all beings be happy. So should we book the interview or no? Tristan, I don't do interviews with brand new accounts. I don't even know who you are. You haven't even joined my Discord to send a message. Book an interview where, buddy? Are you lost? Where is Seraph? I'm not sure, but I'm sure he'll be around. I have heard of scams where they copy your YouTube channel and then get YouTube admin to shut yours down as a fake. Be careful, Shiva. That would be hard to do. Yeah. Tristan is just some troll. Yes, I am. At the new temple, Kailash. I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna make videos of it. And prana, my friends, is the only thing that can really change your life. We need to consume prana, absorb prana. Where does prana come from? It comes from the sun. It comes from fruits. It comes from spiritual practice. It comes from retaining your sexual energy. It comes from life and being happy. Exactly. Shiva, Shambho, return for doomsday. That's funny. And prana can change even the facial structure of your face. The structure of your face. It can change the shape of your body. It can change your mind. We are looking to do an interview, no damage to your channel. Tristan, who is we and interview for what and for what audience? You have 1 subscriber. Just because you have 1 subscriber doesn't mean that I'm not going to do an interview with you. But you're some random account that's not even willing to talk to me on Discord. So enough trolling, all right, buddy? What is the value of work, Shiva? That it produces value, services or goods to others, benefits other people's lives, and in return benefits your own life. So my friends, this is the first time that I'm really competent in doing this, meaning talking to the camera and sharing my thoughts. I've wanted to do something like this for a long time, for 10 plus years on my spiritual journey, but I was still, learning. And I'm talking to you from my account. We interview Ralph Smart. Tristan, if I go to, which interview is that? So I'll YouTube search it. What should I search up? One thing that is immensely, no, let me think about what I can say or what I should say here. One thing that will help on your spiritual journey is this particular type of metal, and the things that I have on my website. I urge you to buy it. But yeah, it gives you strength, and it gives you the ability to handle massive weight, spiritual weight. Can you see my messages, chat? M. Shouty, yes I can. I don't block people. Let me go through my blocked users. I don't think I have any. I'm not Dr. Rob here. Let's see, permissions or community moderation. User management, approved users, hidden users, 0, 0. So, yep. How to quit my mind, Shiva? Or quiet my mind? It's a good question, very deep question. One that I can talk about for a long time. I like this, it's reeling, intelligent, Rob follows nothing. Yeah, so how do you quiet your mind? I'm thinking about you particularly. How can you quiet your mind? Shower, take a shower. Room temperature shower. You get out, your mind will be quieter. But when your mind is constipated, it means you've eaten bad food. That's what Sadhguru says. When your mind is full of thoughts, you just eaten, it's running like diarrhea. It's you've eaten bad food, which is you have identified with the wrong things. You're not the body and you're not the mind. If you can detach from those identities, you really won't have any thoughts. Unless you need to think about what plane to take or what hotel to stay in, then thoughts come up and that's useful, but otherwise that's it. Your friend from the hostel in Australia was interviewed earlier today. What? I didn't have a friend from the hostel. Tristan, I know you're lying, but somehow I'm still entertaining you. What should I search up to find your interview with Ralph Smart? Huh? That seems to not go anywhere. That's not the question. How do I do it? How do I do it? How do you do what? You didn't ask a question. How do you quiet your mind? Meditate. Go on. Oh, the interview hasn't been published. Oh, that's very convenient. Give me one other interview that has been published with someone famous or relatively famous. Or just one interview in general. Tell me what to search up. Okay? Doesn't have to be any famous person. Let's see. This is your last chance. So go to the App Store on your phone, type in Sadhguru, and meditate using the techniques that he has there. It's one of the best meditative techniques in the world, for free of charge. Is this live? Discourse International asks. No, it's pre-recorded. Just kidding, it's live. We would like to interview you as part of the documentary. Sure you would. As was also the occultist and demonist, Isha Kriya. Exactly, Isha Kriya is fantastic, yes. Isha Kriya, Om chanting, all these things. ShivaKailash.com. As a, yep. Tristan is a liar. Tristan is a scammer. I'm telling you, Shiva, if you want the truth, talk to me. All right. How do I? You don't. Discourse International is asking, I assumed you were joking. Yep. We know the website, LOL. Yep. Do you think your mom would be interested also? Matan Evans and that girl Bonnie Blue. That was a funny interview. What country are you in? I'm in Vietnam right now, Da Nang, Vietnam. But soon I'll be in Canada, and maybe even sooner I'll be in another country in Central America. We'll see. How long have you been in the Buddhist journey? For 10 plus years. 10 plus years. I have raised my voice twice with people on the past week and I'm still angry. Well, anger is like losing control of your car on the highway. You don't want to do that. If you're angry, shut the hell up. Go sit in your bed, close your eyes, and wait until the anger passes. Then you can do whatever you want to do. But don't act out on anger. That's just never a good idea. I've done it in the past, and I'm not proud of that. They need good workers in the cobalt mines in Africa. Yep. Black video game they don't play because okay. Namah Shivaya. Is there a Buddhist heaven and how is it described? Yes, there is a Buddhist heaven. The Buddha explained that there are many heavens, not just one heaven. And we are right now in the human existence. There's also animals that are easily observed here in the human existence. Ghosts are also observed. You can observe ghosts. I've observed ghosts, but it's not very common to observe. Angels, there's angelic beings, there's demonic beings, and there's different angelic realms. Like you can pass away from a human state, and if you have good karma, you go to an angelic state, and you live for a long time, millions of years. And it's bliss, very little suffering, almost no suffering at all. And then when your good karma is exhausted, you go straight to hell. And you spend a long time there. Because that's just the cycle of life, you know? You're supported by the fuel that you have inside of you. So once the good is burnt up, then naturally the bad is to follow. And that's how we move through life. So, can you capture a ghost? I don't think so, I don't know. Would you say you have learned experience that you value the most from Buddhism? I think I've experienced more from Hinduism or from Shiva. My anger has existed a long time. It is a good to have. So my friends, look, I'm willing to talk to you, to benefit you, to spiritually guide you on a call, on a video call or voice call, whatever you wish, whatever you prefer. If you think that talking to me would be beneficial, if you want to talk to me, if you want to become friends, then join me on Facebook or Instagram or Discord, message me in any of those platforms, and I'm willing to guide you or talk to you or to share whatever I can with you. Believe me, I have certain abilities and I can help you to transcend a lot of limitations. And is this free? Yes, there's no charge. There's no charge to this, but I'm willing to accept donations. So if you feel like I've benefited you, if you want to benefit me back, then you can send me a donation, but that's up to you. So all on a donation basis. So I encourage you to do that. If you feel called to do that, if you feel intuitive that would be a good decision to do, then do it, reach out to me. That option is always available to you. And I'm here to help you to work it out. Do the Hindus worship Pokemon? Nope. I believe in the world that comes from suffering brief. I believe the world to come where suffering is brief because mercy is great once you're pursuing this. Do you want massage? No. Do you take Visa? Sure I do. ShivaKailash.com. I take Visa. What about permanent liberation? What about it? Okay, where do you get a few people to contact you while you search for guidance? Okay. Let's see. I say thank you, bro. I've really been searching so much about Buddhism. Nice. Thank you very much for the donation and the super chat. PX and Dad. The love God put in my heart for you has greatly benefited me. Wow. That's good to hear. I'm glad for that. I'm happy. And I hope God fills both of our hearts with much more than just love, with much more than love. Thank you, PX and Dad, for your donation. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Hello, Erica. Hello. You said you go to heaven, stayed for millions of years, then you go to hell. Is that still liberation, or what were you saying? So I'm saying that the Buddha explained that there are different realms of existence, but none of them are permanent. So you're here in the human birth for 60, 80 years, you're gone. If you don't liberate yourself, you'll go into some other state. If you did bad deeds, you're going to go into an animal form, or even worse, or lower. If you did good deeds, you'll go somewhere else. But doing good deeds or bad deeds just to go to a destination is not good enough. Because you'll go to a heavenly place, you'll go fall down to hell, you'll come back as a human, you'll go there, you go here. It's an it's a cycle, it's a cyclical. You'll keep going. The life energy will keep flowing into other bodies. And now you can't stop that unless you liberate yourself. That's what we're seeking. So fundamentally, you have no choice where you reincarnate. That's the unconscious part. The more conscious you become, you can actually consciously dictate how you should die. That's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in becoming more conscious. To dictate not just every aspect of life, not just, even my birth, next birth, I can dictate that if I wish. So that's just beliefs. Don't believe what I'm saying. But can you at least trust that becoming more conscious is the right thing to do? Well, you look in your own experience. Maybe it is. I think religion is fascinating regardless of what I believe in it or not. Yeah, absolutely. Religion is, made to help human beings to go beyond suffering. And sometimes there's lots of crazy things in it, but generally speaking, it's good. Do you have proof of your claims? No, I don't have any proof, but I have insight. These are things that I've seen for myself. Some of the things I've seen for myself. Like, for example, I don't want to go into it. Can you liberate your beard, please? No, I won't. And I'm sorry that you shave your beard, buddy. You're a man, but you've been told that cutting your face every day is somehow good. You can snap out of it, okay? Snap out of it. Quickly. Thank you for sharing your beliefs. Okay. I have proof. I can show you God's majesty. Yeah, that's good. Show us. Luke says, the more intelligent and intuitive people I have met have an almost non-existent ego. What does that look like? Non-existent ego. I think death is just something that exists right now because it grants us hope from a certain suffering. You try to grow a beard, but people think you're homeless. Well, that's just the nature of society's ignorance. They will think that you're homeless. And people think that I'm homeless because I look like this. That's just something you have to take on the chin. All right. Don't listen to the haters. Absolutely. And the beatings will continue until morale improves. Stop being lame. Get Rob. Rob is sleeping on the job. You go message him. Video, interview, phone call. Can we send you your questions? Is it good to look poor, interesting in depression? Is it good to look poor entering a hyperinflationary depression? Look, there's something that I've learned. I don't know if this is true. Let me Google if it's true. But men grow beards in the time of conflict on Earth. So, for example, during the last 2008 financial crisis, it's been observed that men started growing beards more. Let me Google if that's true. I just heard that. Do men grow beards more during financial crisis? Yes, evidence suggests that men tend to grow more facial hair during financial crisis and economic downturns, a phenomenon often referred to as recession beard. This trend has been observed historically, including the 2008 global financial crisis and earlier downturns. Reasons for the increase: unemployment freedom. Men who lose their jobs often stop shaving as an act of playful rebellion or because they are no longer constrained by strict corporate grooming policies. Sign of masculinity. Some researchers and commentators theorize that in times of financial insecurity, men may grow beards to compensate for a perceived loss of power or to project strength and ruggedness. Shifting grooming trends. During these periods, sales of grooming products and shaving kits often shift, with men investing in maintenance tools rather than just disposable razors. So, historical examples, 2008 financial crisis, many media reports that, so that's how it is. And the first point is that, unemployment freedom, it's a playful rebellion. I'm sorry that you have to abide by the boss or the employer, that he tells you you have to shave your face and you follow him like a little beta. I'm not doing that. I'm never going to do that. If I go get a job, if I ever want to go get a job in a corporate office and they tell me to shave my beard, I'm going to tell them to fuck off. I'm going to show them a middle finger. And that's not happening. Either hire me here like this or, okay, there's the door, okay, there's the window. And secondly, the sign of masculinity. It is a sign of masculinity. So it's a sign of strength. People understand intuitively you gain something by doing this. It's not just an appearance. So, yeah. I don't like the feeling of having a beard, but you do you. All right. It's just a sensation that you're averting. You're averse to a sensation. That's not a sign of skill or a strength. It's a sign of weakness, actually. So be allowing of that sensation, and it's not permanent. Beard represents growth. It's not a representation. It's what it actually does. So it is spiritual growth, yes. It does give you stability over your body. And other things, other benefits. It gives other benefits, spiritual benefits. So it's valuable to have a beard on the spiritual path. Or facial hair, or hair in general. All hair. Actually, fun fact, most men that have beards today come from bloodlines of warriors and fighters. Very nice. Beard is spiritual growth. Testosterone causes beard. Yep. There is a difference between a beard and facial hair. What is the difference? Tristan. Oh, that came from Tristan. I forgot. Okay, so I wouldn't expect much more from you. Yes, there's a difference between beard and facial hair. Facial hair is a general term for all hair growing on the face, including stubble, while a beard is a specific established form of facial hair, usually defined as longer, thicker hair on the chin, cheeks, or neck that has grown past an initial stubble phase, often considered to be at least 5 millimeters long. Okay, so I guess there is a difference. I take that back. And you need to grow beard. Facial hair, that's for babies. Okay, that's for teenagers. So be a man and grow a beard. Facial gives you at least 10% damage when you get punched. That's also true, I think. Let's check it out. Does a beard give you more ability to withstand a punch or knockout? A beard provides minimal to no significant advantage in preventing a knockout from professional level punch, but scientific studies suggest that a thick, full beard can act as a natural cushion, offering slight. That's insane. It can act as a left relaxation. Oh, I doubt that a beard would be anything that is stopping a punch. But some people have also speculated that growing a beard has something to do with the strength of the jaw, not because the beard is going to prevent, it's like Conor McGregor punching you in the face, but yeah, something. I'm sure there is something to that. Like in the case of removing your wisdom teeth, let's see, that's about, does removing wisdom teeth lower ability to withstand punch or knockout. Removing wisdom teeth generally does not lower your long-term ability to withstand a punch or decrease your capacity to take a hit initially. While jaw is temporarily weaker, there's been some anecdotal evidence of fighters saying that when they took out their wisdom teeth, their ability to withstand a punch and the strength of their jaw has significantly gone down. So that's something to take into consideration. That's a ghost beard. I don't know what that means. Why can't you grow a proper beard? But my body is dictating what I grow and what I can't grow. So you can't decide what you grow and you can't grow. You just stop putting a razor to your neck, and you'll grow a beard. You'll have a beard. But I'm not a shapeshifter. I can't dictate the shape of my beard at will. We wouldn't even be able to do anything without ego, Tony. That's kind of true. So, I mean, your beard needs to thicken up, brother, nothing bad. All right, I'll tell it to my ancestors. It's not a beard, it's facial hair. Incorrect, by your own definition. Thank God Rob is not on this live. Yeah, Rob is sleeping. Hey, if you're enjoying this, send a super chat. We're 5 away from completing our goal. Maybe removing wisdom teeth changes the jawbone structure enough to affect a fighter. Yeah, I think that's what it is, yeah. But we have 15 minutes until the clock expires, so I doubt we'll finish our goal. Unless 5 people donate 5 super chats, then we'll see the confetti. The issue with ego is people are willing to acknowledge that we don't know everything. Yep. Hey Shiva, what are your favorite video games? Warzone. I'm going to be playing Warzone when I come back to Canada. I hope. Definitely, Matt, ego is necessary for survival. How do you know Rob is sleeping? Because I see his live stream. Ego can help, but it's in the way of growth, and yep. So send a super chat if you're enjoying this. Highly appreciate it. Oh, Rob ended his live stream. Okay. It's over. It's over. He's been live streaming for 7 hours. That's impressive. Hey, pistols. 2 pistols. Donates, super chat. Thank you very much for your donation. Highly appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Many blessings on to you. 4 more. Can we get 4 more in the time span of 13 minutes? I doubt it, but it's been known to happen. What do you think about churches? I think they're good overall. I think they're good. I'm glad I have facial hair. Nice, me too. I'm glad. Someone even, Dr. Rob even kind of told me that if I shave my hair and beard and ordain as a monk, he can buy me my phone. And I thought it's not worth it. It's not worth it. That's how much I value this. That's how much this brings value to me. This brings strength to me, stability in my body, energetic support. If I talk into it, people won't even believe me, but whatever. Hey, just wondering, do crystals help with energy at all? Absolutely, crystals do help with energy. Specific crystals more so than others. Quartz crystal is, I think, generally the best one. It's pretty much good for everything. Let's see. What are quartz? I'm just talking about this from my intuition, I really know. What do quartz crystals do for spirituality? Quartz crystals are often called the master healer and are primarily used in spiritual to amplify energy, enhance mental clarity, and facilitate spiritual growth. They are believed to absorb, store, and regulate energy, making them powerful tools for meditation, intentions setting, and clearing negative energy from spaces and chakras. So my intuition was correct. And I can see this crystal in my mind, this clear crystal. So invest in some quartz, have it next to you, next to your room when you sleep. It's fantastic. So if you have questions, I would highly appreciate reading them from a super chat if you can. If not, that's okay too. Rip my granny, she got hit by a bazooka. Yeah, maybe it's just easy for a self-assertion to lose ego. The ego, people are talking about the ego. Yep, you're welcome, Casey. Good to see you here. I'm glad you subscribed. People's ego, Yeah, people don't know how to use their ego. Everybody has an ego, everybody has a mental image of themselves, and the problem comes when you take it seriously. You know, when someone throws feces over your mental ego, you get hurt by it. What does quartz do? It just read it out. It amplifies energies, enhances mental clarity, and facilitates spiritual growth. Fantastic, fantastic stuff. If you had a time machine, where would you go? I would go to the time of Jesus Christ, to the time of Shiva, the Adi Yogi, to the time of Agastya Muni, and to the time of the Buddha. Yeah. Yep. 10 minutes left, my friends. If 4 people want to send me a few dollars to reciprocate for the time that I'm spending here, that would be wonderful. What part of Toronto are you from, Tristan? I'm sure you would love to know. You freaking stalker. Crystals, crystals, crystals. Is there any spiritual way to make my eyes green? You're only asking that because you're comparing yourself to others. Maybe you see me or see somebody else. Oh, I wish I had eyes like that. Everybody has their own strengths and weaknesses. And your eyes are just perfect the way they are. You can't change them. If there's something you can do to change, maybe contacts. You can use contacts. But that makes your eyes bulge. It's easy to see that they're contacts. So, all right, good night. Good night, Brendan. Are you a homosexual? No. What set you on such a path? Suffering. I have blue hazel eyes. Nice. That's beautiful. I would open my third eye, but that's against Jesus and I won't do it. Do you think Jesus had an open third eye? Definitely not, right? That's the devil's work. Hey guys, I'll have a question for you, okay? If Jesus is for eating animals and slaughtering, what is the devil for then? You think about that one. Do you stream every day? Yes. Pretty much. I'm gonna end this live stream, I don't know when, soon maybe, and I'm gonna go get a watermelon, maybe 2. And I will eat that watermelon, and I will fast. I'll go on a fruit fast, because I'm gonna be traveling soon, and the best time to fast is when you're traveling. Not only because it's convenient, but also because it's very good for you. Meaning, flying on airplanes and dense, heavy food don't go well together. So better that you don't eat anything. Third eye is a chakra like the heart, but don't open the chakra because that's the devil. Are you a... Of course, mankind, look at this. I've had this for years, by the way. Watermelon stream, yep. Fruit fast, yep. Hey, thank you very much for the super chat. Casey, thank you very much. What can you suggest to add to my routine, like things I may need to purchase for using on mindfulness? I'm a spiritual person, so I need help. Okay, I'll answer generally, but also answer for you specifically. For you specifically, Casey, I would suggest investing in a good water bottle, like one that is fully copper. So 100% pure copper water bottle, ideally made from India because they know how to make good copper. And then drink this copper. You don't have to drink the copper water every day, and be mindful that copper is very gentle and it can be damaged easily. So don't let it fall, just keep it in a safe place. The worst thing you can do is drink from plastic. So if you have water bottles that are made from plastic, that's the time to throw it out. Ideally kind of metal, but the best is copper. I have copper water bottles there. I have a kind of copper water bottle here. This is brass, but essentially it's whatever. I'll show you the copper water bottle. So this is hammered copper. This is what it looks like. And it gets green, it oxidizes, but you can rub salt and lemon, and it'll make it very, very shiny. Same thing on the inside. So drinking from copper is valuable because copper enhances the water, it energizes the water, it also mineralizes the water, it gives you more copper, and it changes the quality of the water to be very beneficial to your inner growth, spiritual growth. So in India, you see people drinking from copper all the time. That's the tradition, and it's valuable to do that. So that's one small thing. Copper water bottles are pretty cheap, 15, 20 bucks, you can get one. And that'll make a big difference. That's one small step you can take that'll lead to huge returns in the future if you consistently do this. And of course, other things, well, what else? Generally speaking, so that's one small, simple thing you can do for yourself, personally, Casey. But generally, you can go to my website, shivakailash.com. I sell spiritual things like what? Like this particular metal, which this entire live stream was about. The beginning of this live stream is talking about this metal. And there's beads that you can take and you can place in your room that have spiritual qualities. You don't have to get it if you don't believe in it, if you don't think it's worth it, you don't have to do that. Or these beads, they're grown in the Himalayas, they come from a blue seed, they're connected to Lord Shiva, and they're fantastic. They're really fantastic. They're one of the most valuable things that I own and possess, and I purchase a lot of them to sell to people because I know how valuable it is. That's also available on my website, shivakailash.com. That's on a general scale. And also on a general scale, anything from the Isha Foundation, from the Isha Yoga Center, you can go to the website called ishalife.com. Isha Life. ISHA. And that's Sadhguru's website. And you can also buy a copper water bottle from there. Plus many consecrated things like little miniature temples and objects that will do the work for you. They're kind of energy machines. So if you have these energy things in your room, they will energize the space and they'll also do the work for you. Meaning, yes, you have to meditate and you have to do all these things, but you can also make use of tools. So like the example that I gave, you don't have to rip apart apples with your hands all the time, even though you can. That's not sensible to do. Get a knife. It's much easier. So it's much easier to get spiritual tools because it does a lot of the work for you. Erica Sanchez coming in with the $2 donation. Thank you very much, Erica. Always good to see you here. And we are one away from having confetti fall on the screen and all of us achieving happiness and bliss. So let's see if someone can donate in the next 3 minutes and we'll reach our goal. That'll be I'll be in a lot of gratitude. Thank you. Thank you for those who have donated. And I hope that answers your question, Casey. If you have any questions, let me know. All right. Boom. We did it. That's always fun to see. We have 2 pistols. Thank you very much. Thank you, friend. Thank you for being here, and thank you to Kian War for the dollar donation. So you both came in clutch, and thank you for your super chats. Corpus Mankind says, who is a member or who is a moderator in my channel, are you a primarily raw vegan? I would say no, I'm not primarily raw vegan, although I would like to be. And I hope that I change my lifestyle and the place that I'm living in a way that I can become raw vegan, because that is the best thing that I can do for my body. I think it's the best thing that anyone can do for their body. It's the lightest food, the easiest to digest, the simplest in your mind. It doesn't give you cloudiness, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, grains, legumes that are sprouted nuts and grains, sprouted seeds, raw vegetables, lots of fruits. It gives you so much life. The food is actually alive. It has all the enzymes, and you're gonna be beaming. So I know from personal experience, I've gone 2, 3, 4 days of just eating fruits and how I feel. Oh my God, I'm like a light shining through the universe, just light traveling through space. And then I go and eat some sushi, or I eat some raw, some rice, not real sushi, vegan sushi. Eat some vegan sushi or some cooked vegetables or some soup. Yes, it's good. It's a kind of weighing down. It also has benefits, but it's lethargy. I'm feeding a lethargy. So it's not the best. So thank you for your super chat. Thank you for your super chats, everybody. Two Pistols, Kian War, Erica Sanchez, Corpse Mankind, Casey Watson, PX Dad, thank you, John Carroll, Isaac, and Yay Miss Child. Thank you very much for your support. All right, let's continue on. All messages. All right. Can vegetarian be just as good? Yes, actually, I believe it is. I believe it can, or at least I believe. Because if you think about meat and why meat tastes good, well, meat tastes good because it's a protein-rich food and it's got oil and fat and lots of minerals, but it also tastes good because it's smothered with vegetables and seasonings and sauces. So imagine eating a chicken that's just boiled chicken. Probably not the best. So ideally, we want to eat foods that are very easy to digest and not difficult on our stomachs and on our minds. Do some push-ups. Well, if you send me a $1 super chat, I'll do one push-up. For every super chat I get, I'll do one push-up. But you have to state that if you want me to do push-ups. What about mayonnaise? Mayonnaise is not a good thing to eat because mayonnaise is... I saw recently how mayonnaise was made, and it was like, oh, this is gross. It's like oil. Oil whisked, and it became mayonnaise. Ideally, you don't want to eat anything that comes from animals, any animal products or byproducts. I believe, my personal humble opinion is that a plant-based, raw diet is the best for a human being. Maybe not for everybody, but for the majority of people. And try it out. You don't have to believe me. Go and experiment. Go on a fruit fast and see how you feel. You're probably not going to be... The feeling of heaviness is also something that people crave. Would you do 100 push-ups if I were to send $100? Yes, I would. And I would not stop the live stream unless I did 100 push-ups. So, heaviness is something that I also admire and crave, the feeling of heaviness. So when I went on a fruit fast, 3 or 4 days I went on a fruit fast, the feeling of lightness was so strong that I wanted something to weigh me down. And I was craving that, actually. Then when I went and ate food, like, peanuts or something like that, it's a kind of weight. It weighs you down. It also feels good. But, eating processed foods or eating cooked food, it is not the best for mental clarity because it's cooked. It has no enzymes. It has no life, really. It just has other benefits. I eat in the evenings. Evening time is not the best to eat because the stomach fire and the digestive fire is most powerful in the daytime. Generally speaking, in the time before noon and afternoon. This is when the fire is raging the strongest. Both solar fire and also digestive fire. This is where it's the most powerful. Then when there's a certain threshold of time, certain cycle of ends on the planet, on Earth, generally after like 6 p.m., that's not the time to eat. The digestive fire cools down. And even later in the evening, it's not the best time to eat either because, especially at night, your digestive fire slows down by a lot. Still, you can, if you're very hungry, you eat, and it's not going to kill you, but it's not optimal. So in spiritual traditions, people eat generally in the morning time and in noontime. You should do a push-up every super chat for a stream, you'd get ripped. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. This comment is peak physique, shredded, majestic, vascular. Nice. So, at least that's what I've found in myself. I can't comment on you. But in my experience, when a certain threshold is met on Earth and the sun is going down, I feel my stomach is shutting down. Okay, it's not the time to eat. And sometimes I do eat. Even I don't pay attention to myself. I don't pay attention to my thoughts because I'm stupid. And I eat this food and then I realize, oh man, I really shouldn't have eaten. It's a very slow process, and the food is in my stomach for a long time. You're about to drink 500 milliliters of water? That's not a good idea. You can get ripped for 46 push-ups. How do you not have a girlfriend or a wife? That's one of the mysteries of life. But I'm sure things will present themselves very soon. What about weed? In yoga, yogis classify things based on 3 elements of consumption, or what you consume is positive, things that give you energy, positive pranic, things that give you prana. Neutral, doesn't really give you anything. And negative, things that actually take it away. So positive foods and positive things you can consume are way more than any other. So fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, grains, legumes, all positive. Neutral foods are only like 2. Potatoes, white potatoes, and tomatoes. They don't really give you anything, they just kind of fill you up. They have minerals and things, but in terms of prana, they don't have much. And the negative pranic foods, there are a few. For example, eggplant is a negative pranic vegetable, one of the only negative pranic vegetables. And maybe a few other vegetables that are very rare to find are negative pranic. Meat is negative pranic, milk, cheese, eggs, dairy, these things. Caffeine is negative. Caffeinated tea or tea is negative. Any kind of processed food is negative. Chilies and spicy foods are also negative. And intoxicants, things that intoxicate your mind, are also negative. So weed would fall into that category. It takes away your life force. Yeah, so do with that whatever you want. Eggplant is not good, yes. Eggplant is a neurotoxin. And if you're pregnant, you definitely shouldn't eat eggplant. Your child will come out deformed, or potentially the potential is there. And if you eat it once or twice or 3 times, it's not some big deal. I've eaten eggplant recently, an eggplant sandwich, and I felt the effects. Okay, I understand why this is not a good thing to eat. But it tasted good, no problem. But if you eat it every day, yeah, you're gonna ask for trouble. Tea is negative, yes. So tea is caffeinated tea, only if it's caffeinated. So caffeine is a nervous stimulant. It stimulates your nervous system. So smoking cigarettes is also a negative pranic substance. Alcohol, of course, is negative. Eggplant, yes. So I'll Google it, okay? Is eggplant yes, according to certain yogic and Ayurvedic-based dietary philosophies, particularly taught by Sadhguru, eggplant is considered a negative pranic food. It is classified this way because it is believed to deplete energy from the system, reduce alertness, and is part of the nightshade family. Yeah, that's an important sugar, of course. Yeah, sugar is very negative. It's processed. Anything that's highly processed is not good for you. So sugar is extremely processed. But something like honey, for example, which is filled with sugar, is extremely positive. Honey is one of the most positive pranic foods on earth. Puerto Rican, nice. Can't help but eat spicy foods. Well, that's it is what it is. And yeah, you say honey is prana. Yes, honey is very pranic. Why it's considered pranic and then so nightshade, it's a nightshade. Anything that grows at night is a little bit weird in terms of nature. So tomatoes grow at night, but everybody loves tomatoes. When I first discovered that tomatoes are neutral, tomatoes aren't bad, by the way, they're just neutral. They don't give you anything. I realized it, and tomatoes are kind of curious. Honey is highly processed. Well, it can be. If you're eating raw honey, that's the best thing to eat. But hopefully it's from an ethical farm, you know? But don't eat the bad for pregnancy, let's see. Eggplant. Eggplant generally is safe for nutritional consumption in moderation during pregnancy. It provides pyro. No, okay, is eggplant a neurotoxin? Eggplant is not considered a neurotoxin while eaten. Culinary amounts, while it does contain a natural compound called solanine and can act as a neurotoxin in extremely high doses. The amount present in conventional ripe eggplants is far too low to cause harm to humans. Okay. So according to Sadhguru, eggplant is not something to be eaten. I will eat raw honey, yeah. So I used to make raw honey, warm water, and lemon juice. So 1 liter of warm water, a few tablespoons of honey, and half of a lemon squeezed. It's incredible. What it would do to me, what it would do to my energy system, how lubricated and loose I would feel after that. Fantastic. And thankfully we bought honey from a local farmer, which loves the bees. Shiva, don't you understand that process means? I do understand what process means, and I think what you mean is honey gets cooked or it gets unpasteurized, which is not something you want to buy. You want to look for raw honey, not for pure honey. I believe Shiva don't eat honey. He's only saying it's positive. Yeah, I don't eat honey, and I haven't eaten honey in a long time. But that doesn't mean that I wouldn't eat honey. I would not buy honey from the grocery store, for example, unless I knew where it's coming from, because the bees get killed and they get fed sugar water, and so much exploitation happens. So I'm not here for exploitation. But we had a farmer, and he took care of the bees, and he loved the bees, and he had them for many years, and from my understanding, he took care of them very well. Not to full understanding, I wanted to ask him some questions, what he feeds them. But my mom bought a few kilograms of honey, so, you know, I was willing to make the compromise, and I ate honey. And my God, was it good. So that's one of the only animal foods that is very highly pranic. Not pretty much no other animal food is like that. But the most positive pranic food is winter melon. I don't know if you know what winter melon looks like. I've tried winter melon, and I have videos on my YouTube channel, me eating winter melon. I swear, it's like getting high. When I first ate it on an empty stomach, I ate it, and like 5 minutes later, it was like I was high on drugs. Oh my God, it was incredible. It was incredible. I wish I could eat it every day. And please, God, help me to live in a place in a tropical country where I can eat winter melon daily and drink winter melon juice every day. This is what winter melon looks like, by the way. It's a kind of an ashy fruit. It's called ash board also in English. Fantastic. And it is very ashy. That's why it's called ash board. Thank you, Desiree. Bees feed themselves. Yep. Eggs are best animal products food. No, eggs are chicken's menstrual cycle. So not the best thing to eat. 100. Yeah, good. Thank you for joining the Discord. Want some ash board? Man, it's fantastic. If you ever go to India or places that have it, definitely buy it and definitely eat it. You'll be very, very happy. Where do I go to learn more of best person you have? So, okay, Casey asks, where do you go to learn more? Where do you go to learn more about this? You go to Sadhguru's YouTube channel. Sadhguru is a Indian yogi, and he looks like this. So he has a YouTube channel with 12 million subscribers, and he's an Indian yogi, an extremely, extremely wise man. I would say watch anything that you can by him. Sadhguru, Sadhguru. Anything that deals with human well-being, that's the man that I follow. That's where I know most of my ideas or lessons from. So if you think this is valuable, wait till you check out Sadhguru. Honey is delicious. Yep. And fruits and trees, genitalia. That's true. Fruits are trees' genitalia. Okay, you got me there. Well, not necessarily. It's kind of... why'd you have to say that? But it's true, it's true. And that's actually the only food on earth that wants you to eat itself, or that wants you to eat it. For example, a fruit tree is begging you, please, come take this, eat this, and then go somewhere far away and poop it out. So a fruit tree wants to eat the fruits very badly. A vegetable doesn't really want to be eaten. And of course, an animal definitely doesn't. But fruits want to be eaten by you. So eat some fruits. Eat a lot of fruits. Eggs is bad because that chicken had a family. That's true. Eggs are bad because, well, it's bad because of the consequences to the animals. If you buy eggs from a grocery store, you're funding animal abuse. You're basically an animal abuser. Indirectly. So, let alone what it's doing to your body. Yeah, it has good things and minerals, and it feeds you, and it's filling, but it's also a negative pranic. So if we're talking about purely spirituality and growing towards spirituality, you need prana, you need life energy. That's what you're cultivating, that's what you're retaining and getting more of. So it's important for you not to do activities that deplete this. If you get your eggs from the backyard, man, kudos to you. And now all I have to worry about is the physical consequences of it. Am I gonna get the watermelon? No, I can't, because if I leave, I don't have data on my phone, so I won't have any Wi-Fi, and the live stream will be lost. It's 1 p.m. for me right now. I will probably go and get some watermelon very soon. Very soon. Watermelon is one of my favorite foods. I hope I have enough cash to buy it. If one avoids all negative consumption and express, life becomes a little dry. I don't think that's the right way of looking at it. You become holy, you become angelic-like. So I don't know who taught us that we need dark, negative things to make us alive, rock and roll and such. It's not something that I subscribe to. So Vietnamese money has the same person on every single bill. In America, you have different bills and they have different people, but in Vietnam, it's the same guy. I think it's Ho Chi Minh. It's the person that was named for the city. I literally did not enjoy watermelon until about 5 years ago. I don't know what was wrong with me. That's good to hear. Watermelon is incredible. It's a Ho Chi Minh. So, yep. Yeah. You change your profile picture, by the way. So you can see that. I love looking at different money. Yeah. A little jazz is fine. Jazz is groovy. Jazz is groovy. The money sounds different. It's paper. Well, in Canada, my money is plastic. But in America, it's still cotton. Stay tuned. What did you ask? You haven't asked a question, so... Oh, no, you did. Shiva, I want you to be my spiritual teacher and take me around India. All right. Well, I'm not going to be in India for a long time, but message me on Facebook. Let's chat. Let's build a friendship. Hemp. I wish it was hemp. I wish we used more hemp. Hemp is needed. Desiree, didn't you say that you're from Puerto Rico, or is that somebody else? America can be good. Some places like Hawaii is fantastic. No, I haven't got my debit card issue resolved. I can only do that when I go back to Canada. I have to get a new debit card, then my bank will be unfrozen. I'm in Puerto Rico, West Africa, and okay. What's your opinion on human clones? I don't really have an opinion. They're probably something that's real and used in politics and other places, but I don't know too much about that. It's a big conspiracy theory and dangerous to talk about. Hello? Did you look at Discord? No, not yet. Can you do online CIBC will trans? I don't have CIBC, I have something else. I had to buy my honey from a health food store. Well, I hope they treat their bees good. Nice. Oh, Dr. Rob. Yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens. Yeah. I have to go to the branch to prove my identity to get a new debit card. I can't just do it over the phone. It's not just a lost card, it's I'll have to get a complete new number. Exactly. So let's see what is wrong with the bee industry. The bee industry is currently facing a perfect storm of no, I don't mean that. I mean ethics-wise. Exploitation and inhuman practices. Stealing food, you're basically stealing the bee's food and replacing it with sugar. That's one thing. Queen exploitation and mutilation. They pluck the wings of the bee to make it not fly away and to force the hive to stay around the queen. So they're hurting the queen bee. Artificial insemination. Drone bees or male bees are killed in the process of gathering semen for the queen. Yeah, okay, so artificial insemination is a quote that basically animal rape that the milk industry uses as well to get cheese and so on. And mass killing and culling. To reduce overheating, overhead costs, some commercial operators kill hives after honey is harvested rather than feeding them throughout the winter, replacing them next season with new cheap bees. So when winter comes around, it's difficult and expensive to take care of them, so they just kill them off. They literally light the hive on fire with gasoline. And in the next season, they get a new thing. So that's what you're supporting if you're going and buying, in the grocery store honey. I can't support that. So bees produce honey to survive the winter. Commercial beekeepers frequently take all or most of the honey, their food source, and replace it with sugar syrup or high fructose corn syrup, which lacks the complex nutrients of honey, leaving bees with reduced immune systems and malnutrition. So I can't support that in commercial honey industries. That's why I never buy commercial honey. Queen exploitation and mutilation. To maximize honey production, beekeepers often practice requeening, which involves tearing the wings off the queen to prevent her from leaving the hive with a swarm, a natural reproduction process. Sometimes the queen just decides that this is enough. This is not the hive that we want, and let's just go somewhere else. So commercial farms can't do that because they're there to make a profit, and they see the bees as an object. So they do that. They hurt the bees. Artificial insemination. Drones, male bees are killed in the process of gathering semen. The queens are immobilized and inseminated forcefully, often termed as rape sacks by critics. Wow. High stress conditions, that's another reason. Industrial pollinators and transport. Millions of honeybees are loaded onto trucks and transported long distances to different monoculture sites like California almond orchards. This is extremely stressful, causes high mortality rates, and disorients the bees. Monocultures, in these settings, bees have no access to varied nutrients, causing them to feed on plants. Physical harm during the introspection, routine, intense hive inspections cause harvesting techniques cause a significant number of bees to be crushed or killed, and abnormal housing displays native populations, spreading disease, environmental impact, vegan perspective, bee friendly. So yeah, this is how it is. So eat local raw honey, absolutely, and you have to also, just because it's local raw honey doesn't mean that they treat the bees any better. So can you eat honey in an ethical way where bees are taken into account? Let's see. Yes, it is possible to consume honey in an ethical way that prioritizes bee welfare, though it requires avoiding industrial honey and sourcing directly from small-scale bee-centric beekeepers. Ethical or bee-friendly honey production focuses on taking only the surplus honey, leaving enough for the colony to thrive during the winter, and respecting the natural behavior of bees. Nice. So, I mean, you can, I guess, steal some of the honey and it'll be okay. But still, it's not the best. Yeah. I don't eat honey. Roaches should have rights too, absolutely. So we shouldn't abuse insects. Why should we abuse insects? Abusing insects and animals leads to your own harm and detriment. That's the laws of karma. Yep. Raw honey is the best. But still, not, you're still stealing from the bees. That's the consequence you're paying for. And I don't think the bees want you to take their food. They're not making food for you. So you are in essence stealing. So that's something you have to live with. If I had roaches there, would you call the exterminator? That would be evil. I wouldn't call the exterminator. I would find a more sensible way, like trapping them and then releasing them, or finding what the source of their infestation is, or removing their food supply or source. But I don't know why the first instinct is for Americans to go and kill. Oh, there's bees, kill them. Roaches, kill them, exterminate them. Bugs, kill them, squash them. So. But just because it's local, it could be local abuse. So it doesn't matter. You can buy honey from a local farmer, and then the farmer pours gasoline over the hive in the wintertime to set it on fire because it's not profitable for him to continue. So. Oh, Lyme disease. That's tough. There's Lyme disease in Canada as well, in Ontario, from ticks, etc. Nah, not something you want to involve yourself with, something you want to avoid. The only insect that I kind of understand killing, and this is really wrong to say, and I instantly regret saying this, but mosquitoes. Freaking hate mosquitoes. I'm sure there's ethical ways of dealing with mosquitoes, but sometimes that's not always evident. Hello, Ray. Thank you. Oh, mosquitoes, mosquitoes. Did you make it back to Canada? Not yet. Still in the works. Yeah. Fleas too, I mean, yeah. I don't know what a better option you have to fleas than what's an ethical way of removing them. And again, my friends, you're only doing this for selfish reasons. Because killing insects, killing beings, living beings, it hurts you. That's why I don't do it. That hurts me first and foremost. It's painful. It leads to bad consequences. So I don't like bad consequences. I like good consequences. So I help life. I assist life. I'm not here to damage life. Wow. Yeah, so if you're ever in the forest, make sure you see if you have any ticks on you. Lyme disease is dangerous stuff. I'm not stuck there. I really hope I'm not stuck there. My flights are still on schedule. So, still here. Okay, my friends, it's time to wind things down. It's been 211 minutes since I've been live streaming. And all of my energy is exhausted. So I wanted to continue until everything is gone. And I'm glad I did. And now is the time for watermelon. The best fruit in the world. Or definitely the top 3 or top 4. So many people are having issues with flying. Yeah, I know. But hopefully things will go well and no problems will be had. I'm going through countries that are relatively safe, so there shouldn't be any issues, but we'll see. Sing a song before you go. Let's do one better. To close it off, I want to offer you something. We'll do a few minutes of this. This is called soil meditation. When I first heard this, it was life transforming. So we'll start it. Close your eyes if you want, but this live stream is essentially over. Leave a like before you leave. Let's get it to 108 likes. And yeah, you don't have to stay around for this, but this is a nice meditation that will really help you out. So let's do it. Normal amount of empathy, and then thank you, Ray Ray. All right, listen to the instructions and let's do it. Keep your hands open. Sit with a slightly upturned on your palms. Eyes closed. Upturned face, eyes closed. And, the sound. And do the sound. that's it. Whoa. That was powerful. When am I going to Puerto Rico? I might go to Costa Rica. Shiva the beard is okay. This is what I self-taught myself after the incident and deal with the pain, narcosis. Wow. Narcotics. My dog just barks, I swear. All right. Well, that was it. That was called Soil Meditation by Sadhguru. Whew. Thank you very much for joining me, my friends. Thank you for being in this live stream. Thank you for participating and hanging out with me. And I know that person is a troll. They don't have any interview. So, yeah, I appreciate everyone for being here. Thank you for the people that donated or sent super chats. Thank you for the questions and comments. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the likes. And as always, my friends, stay tuned, subscribe. We'll see you here very, very soon in the next live stream. Until then, see you next time. And peace out.